We should be going live now. As I was talking about in the chat with you, Robeer, I'm thinking about maybe clipping out parts of the podcast and releasing them throughout the week for those who don't watch the stream. Maybe they'll catch that topic and just be interested in that particular topic. And maybe it'll bring more people to the podcast. I was saying that, like, I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, but I never would have gotten on it if it wasn't for the clips. Like, you know, you two random people, oh, they were talking about aliens, oh, they're talking about this or that, and I'm like, oh, well, let me click on this. Oh, wait, I want to see this whole conversation. So then I go to the full podcast after I see the clip. So maybe that's a strategy I could go forward with here, especially because not everyone listens to 2 to 3 hours, but maybe you only want to listen to 10 to 15 minutes, and it's just for a particular subject. And that might also be a way to have more content throughout the week. Yeah, I guess it would be fake content, quote unquote, but it'll get more people to watch.
Fake content.
Well, it's just not everyone watches streams. That's just the way it is. People don't do it. So I'm thinking about doing that. Maybe it requires more work.
I'm just gonna, as soon as you do that, I'm just gonna go down the comments, type fake comment or fake content, and just leave.
Hater. I mean, it'll be very clearly titled a clip, so people will know it's from a clip. And
Right.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is a whole separate. No, I'll never do that. But yeah, for those who are new to the podcast, this is my podcast for my channel. I am Andres Restart. That is Brandon from What About Nintendo. He has his own YouTube channel. We both cover Nintendo stuff. The link to his channel is in the description below. The link to my channel, well, you're already here. So make sure to subscribe. Leaving a like would be greatly appreciated. For every like, that's one less tear I will have when I go to sleep tonight. And yes, I have infinite tears, so, you know, every like counts.
Yep. It'd be hilarious if you just had a link in the description that just sent you right back to the same page. You just clicked on it, just refreshed.
Yeah.
It's like, dumbass here.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of an odd joke, but I would be able to appreciate it because it'd be very vain, and I appreciate vanity. Hello there, Sabbath. Roby, we were just talking. Mastermind, I see that you will be at work. Maybe the clips will be good for you. Maybe. Or you just watch the whole stream afterwards, because it does archive. So, but just to kind of go over what we're going over for the night, we're going to be talking about Google Stadia. We're going to be going over the Switch revisions. That's the main topic. Cuphead to Switch, 2019 Outlook. And to be honest with you, I feel like all of these are intertwined together into one giant, massive topic, I think. So if we go out of order, if I end up crossing off one topic before the other in terms of order, well, I'm just giving you that warning now, I guess. But, you know, just to start things off while people kind of flow in, I beat Turok, finally. You know, it came out on the Switch, and I had the game as a kid for the Nintendo 64, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I never got even close to finishing it as a kid. Like, I would put in the cheat codes and mess around with stuff. I never really got past, like, the second or third level. Like, the craziest thing I'd ever seen was sometimes I would see that boss guy with the truck that was driving it to shoot him, and that was it. And that was, like, level 2 or 3, apparently. I just beat the whole game. And it's a good game. And I'm thinking about making a video about how Turok relates to Metroid Prime, because a lot of the members at Iguana Entertainment did go on to become Retro Studios who made Metroid Prime. And if you play the game, there are aspects of Turok that might remind you of Metroid Prime, or vice versa. So I'm thinking about looking into that to see if there's more to that, if it's worth even making a video about it. You know, that's also another thing I want to do for the channel, just kind of looking more into, like, history of, like, different things about Nintendo and gaming, kind of doing more informational sort of style kind of videos. Would anybody even care about that?
I'd watch them. I find that kind of stuff very interesting. I don't typically go looking for them personally. I know some people do. But if I see it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I'll click it. 'Cause, you know, what do you search? You know, when you're looking for, unless you're really interested in a particular subject, usually it's you happen to see something like, oh, that's neat, and you click on it. So,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, maybe if you want to learn, like, more about Turok itself or something. Like, another one that I kind of have on the pipeline is talking about the origin of the Lynel, right, from Breath of the Wild. It's actually not from Breath of the Wild. Its original game was, I believe, the original Legend of Zelda. I have to double check that. Pretty sure. Those little beasties would kick my butt in that game, too. They're not as hard. They're harder in Breath of the Wild, but they still took a lot in the original Zelda. So that's kind of things like that. Kind of looking more into the origins of different things that aren't necessarily covered too well on YouTube. I'm thinking about doing that, but it's kind of like hard because I also want to talk about the news, and that's hard to keep up with when I also have already a full-time job. Like, it's just
so many things.
It's hard. It's hard, which is why maybe putting out clips of the podcast would also help, at least with the podcast, all that jazz, whatever. But anyway, I really like Turok. I love Turok. I think it's great, and I think it's a great little remaster for the game. I'm glad it's on the Switch. I love the gyro aiming. I love the rumble. It all feels good. I feel like the game looks better. There's actually some graphical settings you can change around too, which I was surprised to see.
Oh, nice.
And because of these little additions and changes, I actually feel like the game has aged relatively well. I had a good time with it, and it's not a particularly long game. But, of course, it's designed in a way where you can replay it. There's an achievement system. You can try to beat it quicker. And it was fun. I had a good time.
I think the PC version probably helps a lot with it holding up, since it did have that, and the controls on PC are just kind of more universal. So It just had a better building blocks to work off of with as far as that goes. A lot of, N64 era games dealt with N64 cameras and crap, but this didn't have that because it was a PC game, so you just controlled it mouse and keyboard as well. So,
yeah. No, I'm just looking at the chat, and a couple things are pointing out to me. First, Sal is asking, Andres, I forget, the first Turok have multiplayer. I thought you were saying it has multiplayer. As far as I'm aware, it does not have multiplayer, but maybe Turok 2 does. I'm not sure about that. That's also coming to the Switch. And yeah, it is interesting, Brandon, how I think the PC version does kind of allow it to be an easier transition to this modern day. Because back when you played it in N64, it didn't have dual analog controls.
Right.
That was not a thing. You had to play with the torturous device of the N64 controller.
The alien controller.
Yeah, I'm thinking about recommending the game to my dad because he was the one who played mostly Turok back when I was a kid. Not when we were kids. When I was a kid, he was still my dad. He was an adult. But he played it, and occasionally he asked me, "Hey, is there any games like Turok? They have a new Turok?" So I told him that look, Turok died. Whatever Turok you see that's been made now is not the Turok you remember. Right? It's completely different. Completely different people are handling it. It's just not high quality anymore. But I did tell him that, the whole... I love bringing it up, but hey, did you know that some of the members from Iguana Entertainment went on to form Metro Studios, and they were responsible for Metroid Prime? I always say that, because I think it's cool as hell. So I'm kind of hoping the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD is announced. I think you saw my video when I talked about it, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't think you did. But you may agree with me.
I don't know if I have or not.
I don't know if you did. But some people did. The video I posted on Sunday talking about how I pretty much think there's going to be an April Nintendo Direct because...
Oh, yeah. That's the only one from you I haven't seen yet. I was just too busy at the time.
Right, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not crying about it. Anyway, so I'll just kind of summarize. Basically, I think there's going to be an April Nintendo Direct, right? And the reasons for that are several. One, I looked at the Nintendo Direct archive, right? And I looked at the dates for every Nintendo Direct every year. And every year, there is a Nintendo Direct in either March or April. There has never been a year where there has not been a not an Indies Direct, an actual Nintendo Direct either March or April. Now, sometimes that Nintendo Direct might just be a Smash Bros. Direct, but of course Smash is a big deal. So it's some sort of major Direct, either March or April. Now, here's the thing. We got the big introductory Nintendo Direct for the year pretty late into the year, February 13th, if I remember correctly. And so that kind of skews things a little bit. But I went back all the way to 2014, and in 2014, guess what? We also had a February 13th Nintendo Direct. And in April, guess what we had? A Smash Bros. Direct. So am I saying there's going to be a Smash Bros. Direct this year? No, not necessarily, but we are expecting several Smash announcements because we know we pretty much know it's going to be more than just a character. They tease something else. There have been some data mines suggesting new modes.
They teased a big, 3.0 update, was it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they didn't say anything about it, though.
So it's going to be more than just your typical character, gameplay reveal. There's more to it than that. There's probably going to be new modes as well. So there's a bit more to it. So it might qualify as a whole Direct, or at least a more significant portion of a general Direct in April is what I'm thinking. Okay. Nintendo was also maybe teasing Animal Crossing because they had that whole Tom Nook thing talking about taxes, right? And people were thinking Animal Crossing is going to get revealed at some point. I'm thinking more likely E3 because every time Animal Crossing gets a gameplay reveal, it's at E3. Just look at all the previous Animal Crossing's gameplay reveals at E3. So I feel like that's more likely. But it's maybe possible that Nintendo's teasing it for E3, teasing it with that little Tom Nook taxes tweet, which, by the way, the tax deadline is April 15th. April makes most sense as Nintendo Direct, so could it be like a super subtle like hint that we're getting a Nintendo Direct revealing Animal Crossing and the Smash content in midway through April, around April 15th? That is kind of like the speculation I'm getting at here. And with all of that, we also have to take into consideration that May does not have any set games from Nintendo, published by Nintendo. May is the only month of the year that doesn't seem like it's going to get any published Nintendo games at this point. However, bring this up as well. Labo VR was announced not too long ago, right? It was announced basically not even about a month before it's going to come out. Normally that doesn't happen, but that's proof that Nintendo can announce a published game that could then come out, commercially out in less than a month. So, what am I getting at? Nintendo could announce something at an April Nintendo Direct, and it could come out 5-6 weeks later, maybe even 4 weeks later, in the month after, in the May time. Maybe. Please, oh God, mighty. Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. It's been said by several rumors that it is supposedly was going to come out the first half of 2019. However, I will also admit that those rumors may have stemmed from before Metroid Prime 4 was delayed, and it could have just been that they were going to have that tie into the Metroid Prime 4 reveal coming out later in the year or the early next year or something like that. And because Metroid Prime 4 is now years away, they may be holding that for beyond 2019. So those rumors could be from before those plans changed. That's entirely possible. So maybe Pikmin 3 could also be in the May slot instead, because that was another rumored game along with Link's Awakening, Mario Maker 2, and Box Boy, which were all already confirmed. So that was basically the summation of the video. So you don't have to watch it random. What am I doing? I'm losing views.
Yeah. Sabotaging your own videos in the middle of streams.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's an interesting point to discuss, so, I brought it up. What do you think?
I could definitely see it happening. I'm assuming you're not counting, like, Pokemon Directs either, because I feel like we might
more than
get
one.
Those. Yeah, I feel like April or May we'll probably get a Pokemon Direct. I mean, they could wait as long as June. They've done it before, but I think we'll be a little earlier this time.
I wouldn't be shocked if we don't get a blowout for Pokemon until May. And then, but once May happens, right, like late May, from then on, we'll be getting regular Pokemon news like almost weekly.
Right.
Leading up to the release in November. So they're being quiet now, but come around May time, they'll have one more Pokemon blowout, and then we'll get regular Pokemon news throughout the year.
Yeah, I am thinking April or May. Probably more likely May, but I could definitely see a Nintendo Direct in April. I could definitely see May, though, just being a dead month. I mean, almost every year there's at least 1 month where it's kind of slow or there's nothing happening. So, I mean, it seems pretty stacked the rest of the year, so I don't think they need to have May be huge.
No.
So they could just have that, just nothing big, just some indie games or something.
Definitely possible. But I think it makes sense for there to be an April Nintendo Direct. And it could just be about Smash.
Could.
And another thing, if they do reveal Animal Crossing in April, the problem with that is then what does Nintendo show off at E3? They could show off more of everything, but they'll have no surprises that are slated for this year. Because I can't imagine that Nintendo will announce another major game to come out in the second half of 2019.
Right.
It's already super stacked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it could be one more game. Maybe, right? Like, maybe.
I mean, they could show off something big for, like, early next year or tease something for next year. They usually do that.
They can, a couple games that are coming out next year I think is possible. That could be, like, their show-off sort of thing. By the way, this is me going out of order, but it doesn't matter. We did hear that there was going to be a Zelda game, another Zelda game besides Link's Awakening coming out, and it was that indie game at the Nitty's Direct. I forgot the name.
Right. Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Thank you. That's it. There's like 3 things that I was kind of interested from the Nitty's Direct. That, obviously Cuphead, and there's like this weird scary game with a teddy bear. I don't remember the name of it.
But I was more interested in the top-down pinball games, like action-adventure pinball. I don't remember what it was called, but it looked cool.
Yeah. I'm actually right now trying to go to Nintendo's YouTube page just to kind of see if I can get a quick look at the name of it for the game I'm talking about. No, not just almost. No, go to Nintendo's page. You dumb. You dumb.
My friend Pedro also looks amazing. That game is so cool.
Oh.
Not my actual friend in real life, Pedro. Though.
You have a friend that is named Pedro that you've even bronzed his podcast a couple of times. So I thought you were just saying, "Oh, my friend looks amazing."
He's just amazing.
Okay. Okay, buddy.
No, the game named my friend Pedro looks amazing.
Okay, sure. No, I'm just looking at the list right now of like the games on Nintendo's YouTube page. There's a few, man. There's a few interesting ones. But definitely Cadence of Hyrule and Cuphead are the big ones. But we'll save that for a little bit later. Let's kind of get back on topic here. But before we do, so Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, may or not, yay or nay? Gut feeling.
No.
Doesn't matter. No one will kill you.
Gut feeling is no.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. We've been let down so many times already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not banking on it either, but I have hope. I'll always have hope.
Always hold out hope.
Always. Let's go over the chat though. I haven't gotten a chance to really get back to you guys. Let me see. So Mastermind seems to agree from what I was talking about earlier. Clipping parts of the podcast doesn't seem like a bad idea, but he likes listening to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, for a good podcast, I like listening to the whole thing, but sometimes when I see the clips, it kind of gets me to see the podcast. So I think I might try that out. We'll see how that happens. Again, I would appreciate if you guys would let me know what you think. Constructive feedback is always appreciated. Unless you're a troll, then I might ignore you.
You did say constructive, so
I did say constructive, but not destructive. Ethan, hello, man. Vilbeard, Super Chris, Sean from Mall64. What's up, bro? All right, so let's just I kind of like what Roger said, by the way. The chances of Metroid Prime Trilogy remake are higher than before, but you don't really believe in it. Yeah, I think maybe, but again, still not super likely. We'll see what happens. But let's jump into the first topic here, Google Stadia. So, is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? What do you think, Brandon?
I feel like general consensus seems to be that people don't really care, to be honest. I feel like that's kind of the general consensus online.
It's interesting because I felt like from a personal perspective, I felt like it was a bigger deal personally. But just to kind of summarize what it is, guys. Basically, what Google's trying to do in the most simple terms, they're trying to become the Netflix of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be able to access this Google whatever app, Stadia, from any platform. Anything that can run Google Chrome or a Netflix app basically could also run Google Stadia. And if you have a good internet connection, it means you'll theoretically be able to play a game at some point up to 8K 60 frames per second, even if it's a big open world game with no delay. That's like the theoretical peak, right? But even on the stream, people have noted that there was already clips and delays, so it doesn't really seem... Not many people are super confident in the service. And with the internet, it always dips. That always happens. I'll say this, though. A lot of games we kind of rely on the internet to play, like Fortnite. Like, people only play Fortnite online, basically, right? That entire game is online, and it works fine, right? Granted, you're not streaming it, but, you have that constant online connection. You rely on that, and most people are okay with how it goes, right? Like, the disconnects are few and far between. Now, it's different with a single-player adventure, and you don't want anything to take away from your immersion, so I understand that. And there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs, and then there's a whole lacking in physical, tangible games, which a lot of people would prefer, because one, you own it, it's yours, right? If you, for whatever reason, get banned on the account, you don't lose all access to all your games or anything like that, things of that nature. So there's that, and then, of course, just the whole collection aspect as well. So there's different elements to this. I think... it's interesting. I'm kind of curious what happens. One of the things when we heard initially about the whole rumor or that Google was working on something, one thing that I always sort of thought, I don't know if I said it, I definitely thought it, is that they needed to create their own first-party teams and make their own games to bring people to their platform. And they did announce that they have their own first-party studios. They are working on that. They had nothing to show. So that's kind of the issue. They're going to need to actually have some high quality games to bring people to the platform. Otherwise, they're not going to make it. Like, there's no hope for them if they don't do that, in my opinion. They have to be good. They need a Halo kind of thing. That's what kind of put Xbox on the map. They need something like that. They need a killer app.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I liked that demo. I saw a video of them. I didn't watch the whole presentation because no thanks. Because I knew it was going to be boring because everyone came out and was like, oh. So I was like, oh, well, I'm not watching that. But I watched clips from it, and I liked. They had a section where they just went from device to device to device, exactly where they had last left off, and I thought that was really cool. It kind of felt like the Switch in a way, but online. So I was like, oh, that's neat. I could just be playing on my phone, and then I'm walking around the house. I come back, I'm like, oh, let me play on my TV real quick. Just hit play, sign in, and then all of a sudden I'm playing on my computer again. So it felt very Switch-like, but a little less seamless.
A little less.
Yeah, Switch a little less seamless.
Seamless. It just in and out. So let me ask you about that, right? So I made a video about talking about it, right? And I kind of I noted that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I even speculated the possibility, because some people are thinking, oh, well, what if Google becomes a legitimate competitor? Is that going to be an issue for the other companies, right? Because Google's so powerful. They could, if they had the, if anyone can enter the gaming industry besides Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, in the console market, even though they technically wouldn't be a console, it would be Google, right? Like, if there's any other company that has the power to do that. So people have some concerns about that in terms of competition, but I made the argument that, what if Google isn't trying to necessarily compete, but be complementary, right? Like, they're even offering cross-play, across all platforms. You can use any sort of controller on the platform from any sort of system or company. So those are all interesting things. Those all suggest being complementary of the business, right? Kind of like what we're seeing with Xbox, right? Like, we now have confirmed that Cuphead's coming to the system, which kind of just supports the rest of the rumors about Game Pass and Ori and maybe that Halo collection maybe, and Rare Replay. There's all those rumors, right? But the beginning of those rumors was Cuphead, and that's been validated. So, the point I'm getting at is that Xbox is willing to put their games on Nintendo system because it's just about, working with each other, right? They offer crossplay and things like that. What I'm getting is that Google seems to be doing something similar in terms of their strategy with their streaming platform, kind of like how Xbox is doing. So maybe in the future, if Google Stadia doesn't completely fail, which I do think there's a possibility of that, but Google has a chance, maybe they could offer their streaming platform on the Switch, just like another app, like how we're theorizing that Xbox Game Pass will be if they were to ever put Netflix on, kind of like that. Like, just another app you can access that will allow you to stream games. What do you think of that?
I think it would be a good idea. I don't see why Google themselves would want or not want to do it. I could see companies like, I don't think PlayStation would do it. They'd say no. They'd say no for sure. Xbox probably, they would say yes in a heartbeat. I think Nintendo would probably be on board, but they're harder to say. Like, Xbox, I feel like they're just going to say yes just because they can. They're just going to say yes because it's another thing to help them out, because they're all about the streaming services and stuff. It's kind of fits with them. PlayStation's definitely going to say no because they're PlayStation.
Right. But they may have to change.
Yeah.
They have to change. They may have to change their ways. It's interesting because when I asked you, I was thinking from the other perspective of Google maybe wanting to put their platform on their systems. You kind of assumed that they would the other companies be willing to accept them onto their platforms, right? So I guess you also believe that Google would want to do that.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Okay. It's just good for them, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Because, I mean, yeah, they're just selling games. It's kind of like, there's no work put into it. You just have an app. It's like YouTube or something,
Right.
It's not like they have to develop anything for it. They're just pretty much getting free money at that point.
Right. It's not like they're losing hardware sales because they won't even be making hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Obviously I can see. I brought it up, but maybe. You have anything else to add on Google Stadia? Do you think it's gonna have any impacts on the industry, or do you think it's gonna be interesting in any way? Like, there are some things they kind of talked about, like eventually being able to play games of Fortnite with 1,000 players instead of 100 because of their infrastructure and all that stuff. Like, I guess that's kind of interesting.
I feel like it's one of those things that the internet's not quite ready for it. It's getting there, and maybe 5G will be the thing that pushes it far enough to get to at this point. But I feel like in gigabits going around, it's slowly, but it's getting around. But I feel like in a few years, this is going to be something that's viable. But right now, it's going to be kind of janky to play if you're actually wanting to just go anywhere. If you stay at home, it's probably fine. And, maybe you don't want to invest in powerful hardware or buy a console. You just want to play games like Game Pass, but not have to have any hardware for it. Maybe that works for people. But I feel like if you actually just want to take games anywhere with you, like the Switch, it's not going to work super well.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Just yay or nay. And guys in the chat, let me know as well if you guys think this will happen. Will Google Stadia be more successful than the Ouya? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yay, Google Stadia will be more successful than Ouya, or nay, Ouya will still be the closest thing to a viable platform aside from the big three.
Yeah. Google Stadia will definitely do better, way better than Ouya.
So it will surpass Ouya. Whew. Man, you have some high expectations. Sarcasm. Okay. Actually, I don't even know the Ouya numbers. I just know...
I don't. I know they're bad.
I know that it was a thing, but not really. Ouya sales. Let's see what comes up. Well, it had bad ratings. But most platforms have bad ratings. Game sales. I just want... Can anyone just give me, Okay, apparently as of March 8, 2017, it had sold 1 million. It sold 1 million units, and I don't imagine it's done much beyond that. Okay, so it at least got over 1 million apparently. That's just a quick Google search,
I'm surprised it hit 1 million, to be honest.
Well, maybe that article's wrong. Maybe I should click it. Maybe is there a VG charts on this?
VG charts. Oh god.
It seems like they did get past 1 million, but I haven't done hard research on this. So, that's still not amazing, but
Sabbath's just saying most of them were for people to review. That's probably true. Just all the bad reviews on YouTube make up most of the sales. Maybe.
Okay. So, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Going back to the whole E3 thing, Sam was saying, you never know what surprise they may have for us at E3. That's true. That is very true. So we will see. Mark Jacobs, hello. Jugs McGee, yes, a long time no stream. We skipped last week, so it's been 2 weeks since we've streamed. The Switchbox NX, Sabbath, that's a great name. Great name. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Stadia, but it's probably not gonna... There's a lot of ifs, right? There's just a lot of ifs and hoops that they have to go through before they can become, something serious. So they have a lot to prove. But I'll keep tabs on it, but, nothing... It's kind of like you gotta put your money where your mouth is, basically.
Right.
So then, let's jump into the main topic. So, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that we will be seeing 2 Switch revisions announced, or maybe even coming out as early as this summer, 2019. 2 different Switch revisions. One being more of a portable device to replace the 3DS. Another being more of a powerful Switch Pro-like sort of device, although they were saying that it wouldn't be quite like a PS4 Pro, but there's that. And then they also said, Takashi also said that it wouldn't, for those who have actually seen the devices, that they don't look exactly how we would expect, which is interesting, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But your immediate thoughts on hearing that we're going to be seeing 2 of these this year, both of them this year. What do you think about that? For the record, this is a rumor, guys. It's not confirmed, but if the Wall Street Journal is reporting it, it's a very credible rumor. It's about as credible as rumors get before they're fact. So, grain of salt, but I would say at least 50-50 this is happening. At least.
Yeah, I saw this. I was like, oh god, what rumors? They're just gone overboard. So I feel like people were like, it's just gonna be, a soft revision where there's not gonna be You're not gonna really know, but it's gonna change. And then there were other people saying Switch Mini. There were other people saying Switch Pro, and Wall Street Journal's like, nope, it's both. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to believe.
Super Metal Dave may be getting validated.
Oh, maybe so.
Maybe so, exactly.
I mean, if this is true, I'd be very happy. I'd buy myself a Switch Pro and go on my merry way.
I would be interested in getting a Switch Pro, especially because I know my brother has some interest in having a Switch. He had one, but then he sold it because he got me a PS4, blah, blah, blah. But he still wants to go back and play Zelda and things like that. So, maybe when that Switch comes out, I will get that one. I'll transfer my memory, and I'll give my brother my old Switch so he can play that. And then we can have 2 docks in the house, and that'll be good, and I can still play my games with better graphics.
Graphics.
Now, we touched on this a little bit. So, Papa Genos, another YouTuber, a much bigger one than me, he's really good with covering leaks and rumors and stuff like that. And someone came to him on March 21st talking about there being 2 Switch revisions coming out this year and one coming out later on around the time of PS5 release. Well, the later one being not actually a revision, but more of like the next generation. And we could go over the numbers, but I mean, Brandon, as you highlighted when we talked about it privately, that it's based off those different NVIDIA chips that weren't really meant for gaming, so it doesn't seem likely that it's real.
It feels fake, because if you look at what they say, it's the exact... It looks like they went and they were like, oh, what are some important specs from the next 2 NVIDIA mobile chips? Oh, I'm just going to say it's that, without saying the actual name.
Yeah, and supposedly he got his information from Nintendo of America representatives. But here's the thing, like, the way the conversation was shown, because Papa didn't show the conversation, it was kind of like, like, the person was wording it in a very reasonable kind of way. They made it seem like they also weren't 100% in belief of this rumor, right? But they were just sharing it because they were sharing it, and some of it does line up with what was said by the Wall Street Journal. Like I said earlier, I hope I don't get his name wrong. Takashi, I have it somewhere. Where's the phone? I mean, I don't want to butcher it. Just give me a second, guys. Bear with me. I will share the information accurately. I promise. Where is it? It's right here. Okay, so this person is verified on Twitter. He makes posts on the Wall Street Journal. All right, you've seen him before, probably. A lot of you, if you pay attention to news like us. Takashi Mochizuki. He tweeted this. My latest on new Nintendo. He was sharing the Wall Street Journal post. My latest on new Nintendo Switch coming as early as this summer. There would be 2 models, and people who've seen them said designs of new devices are, quote, different from the original, and you'd be surprised, end quote. So the designs are different, right? So that's what I want to get at. It lines up with what that rumor from Papagenos is talking about, because the other person suggested something similar as well. He suggested that the portable device wouldn't just look like a Switch Mini, which is what we're sort of thinking, but, Takashi, I can't remember his name, that sucked. Yeah, no, I got it right. Takashi's suggesting that it's going to look different. So one of the ideas that's going around is that maybe the Switch Mini will have a clamshell-like design, like the 3DS. I would love that.
I don't know why it would, because none of the Switch games are meant for dual screens.
It wouldn't have a bottom screen.
Then why even flip up?
Protection.
Protection.
You can fit a bit. You can fit a bigger screen. And you can fit, the screen, a big screen into your pocket by closing it down. The buttons are on the underside, right? Okay. So, because the thing is with the Switch, right? It's this big. It's this big to fit in the pocket, but with a clamshell-like design, right? It's more like this, right? Except that when you flip it, it's like you flip it, and it's in terms of width, it'd be closer to this instead of like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because the controls would be on the underside like this. And it would just close.
Okay.
So like that.
I getcha.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. I kind of like the idea of it.
Well.
Stop. Shut up. So, I like the idea of that. I probably still won't get it because I don't need a Switch Mini. But if I were to get a Switch Mini, I like that clamshell design. It's interesting. and it, you know, wouldn't have rumble, probably no Joy-Cons, things like that. And it's basically just like the 2DS, you know, the 2DS equivalent, where it's missing some features, but most games will work. I would have to imagine that some games would need an update, like Mario Odyssey maybe, or Mario Party, to maybe work with those games. Because if Mario Odyssey can't work on the system, that would be bad.
Yeah, and it does require the
it uses HD rumble, right? I mean, maybe they could just get by with just basic rumble, or maybe they'll just update a little feature to, like a color signature or something, to hint at it if you don't have HD rumble active. Maybe that's already a thing. Maybe you can turn off HD rumble in the options, and they just have an alternative way already in the game. And because I would of course play with HD rumble, I haven't seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I know there's an option to turn it down. I don't know if there's an option to turn it off. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I mean, who turns HD rumble off? I don't know.
I imagine if it's just like 3 or 4 games that are published by Nintendo, that with just quick little updates, they could easily do that if they're going to release a whole system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that'll be too much of an issue.
No.
Some games like 1-2 Switch that are completely built around the Joy-Cons, yeah, you're going to have to buy Joy-Cons to use that.
Mario Party requires separate Joy-Cons, so you'd have to buy it for that.
Yeah, but I think for the most part it would work. I think it'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine. But let's talk about that much sexier version, the Switch Plus or Deluxe or Pro or Pro Deluxe Plus Advanced. Like,
that's what it's gonna be called.
The true NX
Plus Advanced.
Yeah.
Oh, the NX will finally be released.
Yeah. I like the name Switch Plus. Switch Plus. Oh, it works for me.
Okay.
What if the Mini is called Switch Minus and the Pro is called Switch Plus?
That'd be pretty dope, actually.
Yeah, right? It'd be pretty cool. Switch Minus, Switch Plus. Oh, I love it. You heard it here first, folks. So what do you think of it? What do you think about the Switch Plus? Because that's what we're calling it.
Yeah. I mean, I just made a video today about 5 features I wanted in the Switch Plus, apparently, now we're calling it. So you guys should check that out after the podcast. Are we still going off the rumor, or are we just talking in general?
I mean, I think you made some good points earlier that it's not likely because of the whole... You can explain that, why you don't think that rumor is likely.
Alright, let me actually go to the... just go to Twitter and scroll up to the page.
Do you want to go over the specs first so people can at least, if they haven't seen
it? Yeah, I want to go over exactly what it says.
And to be clear...
read it off.
To be clear, this is taken from Papa Genius's video, so go check that out if you want to see the source material.
Mm-hmm.
But he showed off parts of a chat they had with someone that shared that information. But yeah, Brandon, if you want to just read it off or talk about it, go ahead.
Right. So the first one, yeah, I mean, he says it himself. Okay, the specifications I've been given include an NVIDIA Pascal architecture-based GPU and overall SoC design, very similar to NVIDIA's Tegra X2 SoC, up to the point where it'll have the same amount of CUDA cores, coming at 256 cores. I mean, he says it himself. It's like very similar to the Tegra X2. That one's not the one that really... That one makes sense. I mean, if you're going to make a Switch Pro, you don't have to make a custom one. It's the implication that the Switch... like the next gen Switch is going to use Xavier, and I'll read out this part. It says a new SoC based on NVIDIA's Volta architecture with 512 CUDA cores. If you go and look at the Xavier, it is a Volta GPU with 512 CUDA cores. So to me, it just implies that he looked... Oh, my light just went out. Oh, there it came back.
If the darkness is coming for you.
It's the guy. He's traveling through the electricity to end me. But I could just completely thrown off track. But yeah, what I was saying is it's pretty much the exact same. Like, it's a Volta with 512. That's the exact same as an Xavier. I don't know why they would ever use an Xavier, because it's not a gaming chip. Like, at least the Tegra X2 is based off the Tegra X1, so it's kind of meant for gaming, even though they never put it in the Shield. It kind of felt like it was meant to be a Shield too, but Shield never took off, so they didn't do that. But this one's just completely not for gaming at all. It's pretty powerful. It's in between PS4 and Xbox One, but it has a lot of AI stuff that the Switch just doesn't need. So it'd be weird to me if they use that one, at least the way it is. I could see them taking that architecture and completely changing the actual chip itself, but to use the exact same core setup and everything, I think would be odd.
I just want to clear something up because I feel like, not that you said anything wrong, Brand, you said everything right. I just want to, because I know it's a little confusing, because I've seen people talk on different forums. So this rumor is talking about 3 different Switches, okay? There's the mini one. It suggests a clamshell-like design to look kind of like a 3DS. There is the Pro Plus one, right, that, Brandon, you're not talking about currently.
No.
We're not talking about that one. So these 2 have already been reported by Wall Street Journal coming out. This rumor that you're talking about, the part that you're talking about right now, is another Switch that was mentioned that would be coming out not this year, sometime in the future, supposedly around the time of PS5 release. Just to clear that up, because I know it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But, you know, go on.
So yeah, that's supposed to be a next-gen version of the Switch. And, I mean, it's not out of the question that they could use it. I just don't know why they would. Unless they're... I don't think they would use it if they're using the Volta architecture. If they were using the new... it's the newest architecture from NVIDIA. I think it's... What's it called? Tensor? No, that's not it.
I wouldn't know.
Shoot, hold on. I can find it. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's like I can find it in like 2 seconds. It's loading.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Turing. So if they use the
right.
Turing architecture, it would make sense to have the AI stuff in there, or at least some of it, not all of it, but some of the tensor cores in there if they wanted to do like DLSS or variable rate shading. These are, I'm just gonna, for all you people who don't know what that means, it's just different techniques that the new RTX Turing architecture has that actually makes games run better while looking the same, or even sometimes better through AI technology. So unless, I don't think they would use the Volta architecture is what I'm getting out.
It's a cool name though. Volta. Yeah. So basically, better technologies and done in more efficient ways, which offers better graphics, or at least a better looking game and better performance.
Yeah.
To put in layman terms, better, the game will look better and it'll run smoother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Such technology exists that I feel like if they were going for a next gen Switch, they wouldn't use this. It wouldn't make much sense.
So actually, there was a couple other things they mentioned when this is still about the next gen Switch, not the revisions, right? I want to get to the revisions more in a bit, but it mentioned something about like 10 gigabyte like Ethernet speed and 5G.
Yeah. So it says it will also apparently add in a 10 gigabit Ethernet port, a 5G modem for truly wireless online gameplay. 10 gigabit wireless.
Like, do they mean without Wi-Fi connected, or do they mean like?
Yeah, I guess they just mean for portable play and stuff. So you can
like
play
being able to play online wherever you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, just for me, I feel like 10 gigabit, first off, I think it probably a typo, or maybe they just don't understand what that means, and they just were like, oh, 10 gigabit, or, you know, maybe it was a mistranslation or something of the information being heard, but 10 gigabits would be...
10 gigabits for what, by the way?
10 gigabit is internet speed. So, typically...
10 gigabit Ethernet port. Is that what it said? Okay.
So a 10 gigabit Ethernet port would be capable of taking in 10 gigabits of internet. The problem is the fastest internet right now. Like, most people don't even have it. It's not even available in most places. I think you have it, and it's available in my area. But not many people have it. And that is 1 gigabit internet. 10 gigabit internet is for, like, entire companies. Like an entire giant skyscraper.
Yeah, I have gigabit. We have gigabit internet speed at this household, but that doesn't actually translate to like, oh, a gigabit of like download speed. Like whenever I do an internet like test, I get like 300 to 400, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I get like 400.
I mean, I download 20 gigabyte games like that.
Yeah, it's very fast. So I could see maybe they make 1 gigabit and it's a typo. So I'm not gonna put that against them, I guess, but it's not like if they actually meant 10 gigabit, that's insane. That would never happen. In 10 years from now, we're not going to be having 10 gigabit.
So the only reason I would think that would make sense is if they wanted the device to be fully streaming games. Like, that's all it was, like a stream device, right? Like,
well, even so, like, unless it's like extreme future-proofing, it doesn't even exist.
Right. And on top of that, like, if you're doing that, why even have the hardware also? It's just, it's so, you don't even need that much to stream games well. Right? Like, what's the recommendation? Like 25, 35 like megabytes per second or something like that?
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're wanting to stream like 4K, but if you,
right.
I mean,
well,
I imagine
4K, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
multiply that
4K.
By 4.
I mean, at most, I imagine you would only need like 100, probably 100, 200.
Yeah.
Not even a gigabit, 1 gigabit.
Right, a gigabit is enough by a long shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. It's probably just a dumb rumor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see Nintendo using 5G just because, I mean, it's possible, but the Vita did it and nobody liked it. So, I don't know. Maybe, you know, because that was 3G. That was a while back. Maybe nowadays people are more, you know, a lot more people have unlimited plans, so maybe more people would be into that. But I feel like that would be like an option. That wouldn't be like just in there automatically.
Right. But let's just kind of move on because I think we're both in agreement. This is unlikely, right? So let's go back to we can. What do you think of the more power? Like, I guess the other part of the rumor talks about the Switch that is the Switch Plus that's coming out this year, right? What does the rumor say about that? What do you think of that one? I think that's probably the second picture I sent you.
Yes. That's the one that says using pretty much the Tegra X2.
Okay.
That's fair enough. I mean, it makes sense. That would make it. I mean, depending on if they use
fat?
stock X2 or not, it'd be what?
Would be fat.
Fat? No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It'd be a good bit faster than the Switch itself, the normal Tegra X1, and it would be very good for battery life because it's 2 times as efficient for power. So that 2.5 to 6 hours would be 5 to 12, I guess.
Right.
Technically, unless of course they use higher resolutions because there's more power. Maybe it's kind of evens out a little bit, but you should get much better battery life with better graphics with that. So it'd be a nice upgrade. I mean, it wouldn't get us to like Xbox. It wouldn't be like, you know, Xbox One, PS4 like
really?
It would if
not even base Xbox One.
No, it would be closer. It'd be like 3/4 of X. It's like in between what we have now on Xbox One. So I mean, like,
why even do it? Like, what's the point? Like, it's got to have some. All right, so let's just forget about the rumors. Let's just go into, because they're probably, I feel like they're bogus anyway. Do you agree?
I think that rumor's not true.
Okay, so then we know, based on the Wall Street Journal, there's a Switch Mini coming. I love the idea of a clamshell design. We don't know what it's going to be, but the designs are supposed to kind of be different. We're not really expecting it. Okay, so maybe that clamshell design could be real, maybe, or something like it. But talking about the Switch Plus, like, they said also that it wouldn't be quite like a PS4 Pro, so don't expect that. But what does that mean? Well, I'm not expecting 4K. That's all I'm expecting. But it would like it if, like, it meant like games like Doom and Wolfenstein 2 and Xenoblade would all of a sudden run at, if not 1080p, really close to it at a solid 30 frames per second. Like, if it meant that, I would be sold. That would sell me. Like, any game with a dynamic resolution automatically is close to, if not, at 1080p.
Right. A Tegra X2 is, like, I think it's like 50% more powerful as a X1. It does have much. It's weird because you can't compare strict numbers because, you know, there's the GPU you have to take, and then you gotta count RAM speeds, and you gotta take into account the CPU. So,
and sometimes the hardware is a little newer, it's a little bit more efficient, and stuff like that too, right?
Right. So it's hard to say just how much more this is, but if I had to take a guess, how well would Doom run on this compared to the Switch? Right now, it's a very dynamic 720p at a not unstable 30 FPS. I imagine with the Tegra X2, they could get it to I mean, at the very least, a locked 720p 30 FPS, like not a variable 720p, locked 720p 30 FPS. I would venture a guess that they might be able to get this to a dynamic 900p or maybe even a locked 900p 30 with an X2. So it would be a significant upgrade, but we're not going to be like, you know, playing Doom at 900p 60 FPS.
Got you. I don't expect the frame rate to change. Just become more solid, like more consistent. Like if there are dips, the dips won't happen. Like basically, it'll just hit its target more often.
Right.
And the dynamic resolutions will be higher across the board. So which wouldn't require an update, right? That would it would naturally run better for the most part, right? But I think it's gonna be more than just about power. One of the common complaints for the Switch right now is the operating system is pretty bare bones. And we don't have a lot of things. Like, I would like to see Netflix and Hulu and well, we do have Hulu. But we don't have, like, Crunchyroll, Netflix, right? Or an internet browser. And I feel like one of the reasons for that is because they're trying to not really take toll too much, you know, put too much stress on the operating system. They want it to be very minimal. There's no background music, nothing like that. No background music in the eShop. I think... and there's no headset support either, right? Nothing like this for online gaming. I think a lot of these little things, and there's also no Ethernet port on the dock, I think a lot of these little quality of life things are things that we maybe could see on this Switch Plus, right?
Right. I mean, you and me are on the same page. I mentioned a lot of these in the video I released today. Ethernet port, better Bluetooth, and things like that are all things I mentioned. So I definitely agree with you.
So I guess I'll put up pseudo predictions for what it's going to be. It's going to be a more powerful system that will have a slightly better battery life, it'll be more efficient. It will, all games that have dynamic resolutions will run at a higher resolution, right? They'll be closer to the cap more often. In terms of frame rate, no frame rate won't change in terms of their target, but it'll be more consistent. Like any game that has dips will not have dips. Like Breath of the Wild and Korok Forest, there'll be no dips on the Switch Plus, right? And then there'll be headset support for online gaming. There will be maybe a more involved OS, operating system that may entail streaming apps finally, right? Like Crunchyroll, well, we already have Hulu, but again, Netflix, things like that, and internet browser. So we could see things like that. That's what I'm sort of envisioning for the Switch Plus. And also, the Ethernet port on that dock. We need that. Please,
port, very
thank
important.
you. Yes, and it probably will have more internal storage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, people like throwing on 128 gigs. I'll side with that. 128 gigs.
I think the storage honestly is another reason why they don't have a.
Just come with a micro SD card. I think they should just release it with a micro SD card instead of just putting internal storage.
I mean, internal storage is really cheap though, compared to an SD card. It's actually cheap for them. I actually was surprised. I was gonna make a video talking about why they should include a micro SD card instead of upgrading the internal storage, and then I looked into it and I actually made a video about why they should increase the internal storage instead of adding a micro SD card.
There you go.
It's actually cheaper for them to include more storage, and the internal storage is faster.
I feel like 256 gigabytes would be the sweet spot. But they'll probably go for 128. I just feel like with my current 128 gigabyte micro SD card and my 32 gigabytes of internal storage, I'm already getting close to the point where, like, all right, I'm gonna have to start deleting games. Like, I'm thinking about eventually transitioning to a 256 gig and just using the 128 gigabyte for my computer when I want to transfer video files. Because that costs a little bit. I got it at a good price, but I'm just saying, I mean, I spent money on it. I don't want it to just become trash afterwards. And I don't like the idea of having some games on one SD card and games on another. That just gets too confusing for me. I want it all in one place. Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, oh, which one? I'm just gonna, like, have a whole diagram, like a map for every game.
Yeah.
That'd be annoying. Just like write down, like, this is the micro SD card with Doom, and this is the micro SD card with Wolfenstein. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I see some interesting comments, so I want to get to them. I think we've gone through our thoughts on these potential Switch revisions. I do believe it's real. I do think both are coming this year. Like, if Wall Street Journal's reporting it, I believe it, basically.
Right. You guys need to check out my video, though, that I just posted today for more information on my exact thoughts for Switch Pro. Yep.
And the link to his channel is in the description below. And if you go to his channel page, you'll see the video. It'll be the first one he just uploaded.
Yep.
So let's go over the comments. Hello there, JT Gamer. Is that Switch a good deal? I'll check it quickly. You gave me a virus. How dare you? Just kidding.
Oh!
275 refurbished. it's okay. I mean, oh, you get the special red Joy-Cons, so there's that. So if you really want to pick up a Switch now and not wait for the Switch Plus that's coming out later this year, I would say that's a good buy. Definitely. Especially because you get those special red controllers from the Mario Odyssey launch.
Yeah, I think they're like slightly darker than the normal ones.
Yep. So
less neon.
Yeah. Yeah, Sabbath. The Switch Mini is probably not for me.
Yeah. I mean, I already have a Switch. Why would I get a cheaper Switch?
Justin was saying, I think of it more like a Samsung Galaxy Fold at first, but then I realized that it's going to be expensive to implement.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, and I was like, nope, that phone's like $2,000.
Yeah, that's the thing. Phones are really expensive, right? Like, this is probably, what, like $600-700 at least, and I got, like, the cheap one.
Yeah.
Like, you could buy 2 Switches before you get this.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this is like a cheap version of the phones that are modern today. Let me see. JT Gamer is asking, would you guys want achievements on the Switch? I don't care too much for it, but if it's there, I won't complain either. Right? It's a nice little addition.
I would actually like the option to turn it off, because I hate when I'm playing a game, all of a sudden a notification pops up for achievements.
Actually,
which
I don't like it when it says I have friends online when I'm playing a game.
That's what I was about to say. I wish you could turn that off, because it's super, especially when I'm trying to record gameplay. I'm trying to record gameplay footage for a video.
Yeah.
Pop up, like, stop.
So maybe, the next Switch could offer more quality of life features, more options, so you can customize your operating system more. Maybe you could finally have things of that nature. I think are all possible. So Josie kind of agrees with my idea. Switch Plus and Switch Minus sound pretty cool, but Nintendo will probably play it safe in terms of naming and marketing. Probably.
I feel like Plus and Minus is pretty safe.
Well, I think the problem with Minus is that Minus implies less, which is what it would be, but less isn't something you want to market. Good point. 2DS is implying less than 3DS. True, but it's still sold. So maybe Switch Plus and Minus would work, especially because Plus and Minus are kind of a theme, right? Like, we got Minus and Plus. There was a whole rumor that there's a whole rumor that the Pokemon was only called Pokemon Plus and Minus, and that's not, I don't think it's deconfirmed yet. Like, that would probably be what Sword and Shield is, maybe. So, I don't know, but I kind of like the theming of it. So maybe, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of times I use, like, that plus and minus, like, scrolling background to my videos. Because of the Joy-Cons, that's why I use plus and minus. So, there's that. Let me see. Switch Plus for a bigger version, Switch Minus for the mini one. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like my thinking here. Sinus Joe, hello, buddy. What's up? Jenny, good evening to you as well. 773R. Alright, here's a typical comment for him. Alright, here we go. I don't want any more powerful Switch or any more powerful console at all. The games take too damn long to create already, and the graphics are not worth it. So that's an interesting point. There is this whole diminishing returns thing. It is kind of been a thing. But I feel like it's just, I still want, personally, I like graphics, I like performance. I don't think I necessarily need 4K, right? I just want my games to feel fluid and natural. I want anything, I just don't want the vision of the designer to be encumbered. Yeah, that's basically it.
At this point, I feel like people just hire more developers, and developers just are getting so much more efficient, and their tools are getting so much better.
But
I feel like it's not really any longer
now. Some indie games are like pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's like maybe like one person. So I feel like it's not that much longer to make games than it was before.
It was a bigger issue when there was a transition to the 360 PS3 era. That was a Switch HD era. A lot of things changed. A lot of companies went down under. But now things are kind of stabilized compared to then, at least. So it's better. It's not as bad as it was then. But I am in agreement that I want the games to keep coming. And right now, the Switch, they are coming. So, there you go. I do hope, like, for example, like Metroid Prime 4 doesn't take like 4 years. I hope it takes like 2 to 3, right? We'll see. Only time will really tell.
And I feel like for a Switch revision, you're gonna upgrade things like frame rate and resolution. You're not gonna go through and actually like rework textures and stuff. So
extra work needs to be done. You'll just run.
It's just gonna be a slight patch. You're just gonna put a small update. There might be a little bit of testing, so you make sure.
Saying there may not even be a patch, because if if it's a dynamic resolution, doesn't it? I guess they would have to patch it maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for some games, it depends. Like, if you want to raise a game from 900p to 1080p, if it's not dynamic, then you're going to need a small update. And you do have to change, like, there's different settings for dynamic resolutions, how high it can go, how low it can go, how aggressive the scaling is, and you need to do a little bit of product testing just to make sure you're in the range. But that's like, you know, you got, like, one guy off in the corner, does it in a week, and he puts out the update. Nothing big. But it does take a little bit of work.
Okay. So Sam was saying, so he's asking, do you think we'll get a new version of the Pro Controller with a headphone jack? I would like that.
Yes, please.
I think no. Maybe. But one thing they can do is just offer a special headset or a head jack adapter that plugs into the USB-C connection on the Switch.
Yeah, it'd be like your iPhone where you can't plug it into the headphones. It
Right.
don't exist.
Yeah. But I mean, if they just launch a little adapter, that's fine. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Assuming the Pro Controller has, I don't know if
I don't know how
that.
See a special Bluetooth headset released by Nintendo.
Right.
I would like to see that.
I don't know if the Switch Pro. I don't know how audio to controllers works. If you need like a separate thing, or if it just works off the normal Bluetooth. But it might need an audio receiver inside.
I'm implying it would. I'm implying that at least with a Bluetooth headset, it would just connect to the system.
Right. I'm just saying for like for an adapter to the already existing controller. I don't know if the existing controller can accept audio because I don't know how that works.
I don't know how it's designed, but the Xbox and PlayStation controllers can.
Yeah, but they're designed with that in mind.
Yeah.
This was designed to not function
no
that
Switch
way.
controller currently offers that feature. A little silly, I think.
It is silly.
Yeah. It's like one of the few issues I have with it, unfortunately. So, do you guys want the Switch Plus or Minus? I love that we're kind of rolling with these names. Let me know what you guys think, and let's move on to the next topic. So we're gonna talk about Cuphead to the Switch.
Yeah.
Yep. Talking about it now. The issue with it's not an issue. It's just that one, I kind of like it. I never played Cuphead. I'm kind of excited to get it on the Switch. It seems to be running and looking really good up for the Switch. I'm happy about all of that. I'm care more about the implications of this, but I'll get to that in a moment. What do you think of Cuphead, Brandon? At least for coming to the Switch. I mean, you can tell me what you think of Cuphead overall, but you know, just what are your thoughts on this on the news?
I mean, I was not so surprised because there were rumors, but I was like, okay. You know, I kind of suspected it because I feel like Microsoft and Nintendo's relationship was getting very good. And, I mean, it's not Halo yet. You know, we're not to that point where they're putting Halo on there. Not yet. We could get there, but not yet. So it wasn't like so much of a shock that my mind was blown. But I was like, ooh, this could mean something. This is interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, to let you guys know again, I did say it earlier on in the show, but there was several rumors, but basically the rumor is that Cuphead and Ori are going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox Live is coming to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox Game Pass will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, maybe with 100 games on the platform, and then the rumors would even go into talking about the possibility of Halo and Gears, and maybe even Rare Replay. Now, recently, you know, King Zell's been talking, a couple other people on Twitter have been talking, alluding to a game that most people are figuring to be a Halo Master Chief Collection to the Nintendo Switch. And this would be native, this wouldn't be streamed, which is really interesting. So all of this is really exciting, and the very beginning of this rumor has turned out to be true. Cuphead is coming to the Nintendo Switch, but what makes things even more interesting, it wasn't the development team that wanted it to happen. It was Microsoft themselves who went to the development team and try to get them to bring it over. They convinced the development team to bring it over. So Microsoft, the higher-ups, the publishing company, were the ones that wanted this to happen.
That actually shocked me when I read that.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
So it further supports the whole narrative of Nintendo and Microsoft holding hands together in holy matrimony and doing beautiful things, like having Microsoft Nintendo babies. I mean, like, so basically, I'm just saying that there are Xbox games coming to the Switch, it seems, right? Cuphead is the beginning. I'm expecting Ori to be announced within a few months. And I think beyond that, we could, like, for example, Brennan, I know you love Halo. What do you think of the rumor of the Master Chief Collection coming to the Nintendo Switch?
I could see. I mean, it could run. It's very. I mean, these are all games that ran on the Xbox 360. It's definitely not one of those issues where you have to worry about it running or not. No, it would run fine. Master Chief Collection's on the Xbox 360. You don't have to worry about that. So I think that's great. It's always nice to see those kind of. You don't have to worry about that. You just you know it's gonna work. As far as if they're gonna put it on there, I mean, I feel like Xbox is moving away from the actual Xbox itself and moving more towards things like games as a service and Game Pass and just Xbox as a brand and not as a machine. So it seems like they're experimenting, putting their own games on, obviously the PC. They've been doing that for a while. That's been working out really well for them. They've been getting a lot of money from that. And so maybe now they're experimenting, putting their own games on other consoles. Yeah. Because honestly, I think Xbox is the machine itself is going to die. I think it's kind of dying already. And the way that they're pushing it is not towards a healthy, sustainable system. It's just towards more death. It's like
they saw it building their branding at the same time, though.
Mm-hmm. It's like they saw it falling off the cliff, and instead of trying to pull it back, they're building a safety net underneath the cliff that is putting all their games on other systems. That's what it feels like. They're just letting the car is rolling off the cliff. It's gonna go off, but you know what? They're not worried about it falling off. They're worried about building a net to catch it.
So people may not like what I'm about to say, but it's a fact. I remember... Now, I have to double check when things started happening, but I've read some books on this. But basically, and I'm pretty sure this information can be validated, but from what I vaguely remember, Sega, right, back in the early 2000s, they were already exploring putting some games on other platforms like Microsoft and stuff before Dreamcast even died out. And it's kind of comparable, right? Like Sega was putting some of their games that normally would be first-party, exclusives to just their Sega systems, were branching out to other platforms. It's kind of what Xbox is doing. So, I'm not saying that Xbox is gonna, go the third-party route like Sega, but I am saying there is a similarity. So, that's why I said, because the idea is that I'd be implying that Xbox would be dying. I don't know if they're going to be dying. I think they may actually be doing it in a really smart way, and they may continue to live on because of this. So, we'll see. But I, for one, am excited about Cuphead coming. I'm definitely going to get that. I don't know if I'll get Ori, but I've seen it. It looks like a really pretty-looking game. I'm interested in that. I love the idea of Master Chief Collection. And I also love that these aren't just straight ports, I think, are going to be. We only know about one that's Cuphead, but Cuphead is it's not just Cuphead straight ripped. Like, it's been reworked to customize for the Switch. It has some new animations, some new features. It's like, it's looking to be a good, nicely featured, updated version of Cuphead on the Nintendo Switch, right? That's really cool. Like, it's going to be kind of like maybe the definitive version on the Nintendo Switch, right? So then, like, what would that mean for other potential ports? Like, what if the Master Chief Collection is a bit more improved? It's customized for the Switch. What if we eventually get Rare Replay and they add the Donkey Kong games on top of that in there as well? Like, that would be amazing, right? Just the full-on Rare collection right there, including the Donkey Kong stuff. It would make sense. It would be on the Switch. These are all, like, little enhanced... They're not little, but they're enhanced versions of these ports on the Switch. I like the idea of it, at least.
And it's strange. Something that I think people have started to realize is Microsoft's just giving Nintendo stuff, and Nintendo's not giving them anything. Maybe they're giving them, like, money or something, but they're not giving them any of their own stuff.
It's interesting you say that from your perspective, but I was telling my cousin Manuel about this. He's a big PC gamer, right? He's not too much of a Nintendo fan. I told him about this, and he just kind of laughed. He's like, Microsoft's going to be making that money. Like, he was... From like a non-Nintendo fan perspective, he wasn't thinking that Microsoft was getting the short end of the stick, is what I'm trying to get at. So I feel like perspective is really important here. Microsoft is putting their games on the platform, but Microsoft is still probably going to get most of that money. I'm sure Nintendo will get a small piece, right? And it will help to support the platform because it expands the library. But Microsoft is making that money. It's their games that are being sold, right? And they're going to get those profits. So I don't think you could, if you think of it from one perspective, Microsoft's giving Nintendo everything, Nintendo's not giving anything, but Microsoft is making the majority of the money anyway. Right?
And I mean, just more goes to show that Microsoft's not desperate to save their Xbox.
Most of their games are on PC as well already.
Yeah, they're giving away games to literally like everything and not getting anything exclusive to their machine. So I think streaming is where they're gonna really go ham. I think they're gonna tackle that niche. I think of the most powerful console. I think they're gonna do that again next generation, and then they're gonna have the streaming box. I think it's just gonna be a really expensive one, and then the streaming box.
I've heard rumors of like 3 different devices they're working on, maybe 4.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones that are rumored.
I think it's just kind of the direction for the entire industry, though, where each system is going to have multiple form factors, right? So there's rumors of like literally 4 different Xboxes coming, right? A more powerful one, a more basic one. You got the streaming box. I don't know. There's just so much. I don't know how there even before, but apparently there is. Then of course we already have the PS4 Pro and the PlayStation 4 Slim and the base PS4, all that stuff, right? And then of course PS5 is coming. I imagine they'll have like different. They'll probably have more form factors for that. And now we have the Switch revisions, right? We're going to continue to call it Switch Plus and Switch Minus, right? Like that would be 2 more. There'll be 3 different Switches in the Switch family by the end of this year. There's rumors of another one, right? Maybe 2 years down the road, we see another Switch, right? That's meant to compete more with PS5 and Xbox Scarlet. I don't know. Like there's going to be multiple form factors moving forward.
Right.
And I think that's just kind of the way of the industry, period. Like basically,
I think PlayStation won't. I have a feeling PlayStation won't jump on the train with multiple form factors.
They also have VR though, right? So that in a way, it's also kind of like a different thing they're going for. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think the PS5 will be, there'll be one PS5. There'll be the VR, of course, but there's not going to be like a PS5 and a PS5 superpower. There's just going to be a PS5, I think.
There's also PlayStation Now or something like that.
Yeah, that's their
their streaming platform equivalent.
Yeah. Nobody really likes it, but it exists.
It exists.
But yeah, as far as actual hardware goes, I think they're just gonna have their main box. This is the PlayStation 5, and then Xbox will probably be the one who's just trying everything, and then Nintendo's just building.
I honestly think that there'll be a base PS5, and then there will also be a PlayStation 5 with VR editions.
Yeah, but that's more like a bundle.
Yeah.
I think that is more of a bundle. That's not just something you can add on to your normal one, or you can buy them together.
Okay. Maybe. But I feel like it could still be 2 different SKUs, right? And there will be people who care about VR, there will be people who don't care about VR.
Right. But that's less drastic than what I'm... for the Xbox, it's complete... this one only streams, this one's really powerful. It's kind of when you... I mean, a lot of systems do that. I mean, the Wii U...
It wouldn't shock me if Sony also came out with a stream box as well, though. They copy each other all the time.
They might, but I feel like they're not interested.
We'll see.
They might eventually. I think at first. I'm
just saying they technically have their own streaming service. They technically have their own streaming service, so it's not like they're not interested at all.
Done anything with it.
Okay.
It's just kind of Nintendo is Labo VR, but that doesn't mean they're gonna have the next Switch is gonna be a VR focused machine.
Actually, I kind of like what I've seen from that. It looks really interesting.
I think it's one of those things where it's gonna be really interesting for an hour, and then you're never gonna touch it again. But it's an experience.
I kind of want to get it.
Depends on how they support it.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I don't expect them to support it beyond the initial package, so I might pick up another. I enjoyed putting together Labo stuff, but I also only play the minigames once or twice. So you're right on that. We'll see. But I kind of like that Blaster game. That Blaster game seems to be a bit more in depth. So, but I'm interested in it, and I'm wondering if that's just going to be the end of VR support from Nintendo, or if there will be more in the future. Not necessarily with Labo. Maybe that's just kind of their testing ground, and then moving forward, maybe they'll revisit the idea of it with the next generation of Switch, which will hopefully have a much better screen, and VR capabilities will be a lot better then. But it's interesting, at least. They came up with some really unique ideas of that. So, but I think we're pretty much ready to kind of just move on to the final topic. I'll get to the chat, and then, we'll move on. So let me see here. What's going on? Oh, a lot of stuff. So I was saying, to be honest, I wouldn't. He's happy with his current Switch. You don't want a Switch Plus or Minus. That's fair. Switch Zero. We'll just call it. It's just a Switch.
Sanzo says, "Do you think the Switch Pro will have an exclusive content? If so, how much?" No.
Good question. Well, there was the initial rumor. Even though I didn't believe the Switch Pro, when there was rumors of the Switch Pro, which are now seeming to be semi-validated now, the rumors were that Resident Evil 2 Remake would be coming with the Switch Pro. That was the rumor, and now Switch Pro is happening. So that rumor has a bit more credibility now, but it doesn't mean it's true, right? Like, it's...
Yeah, I feel like...
Correlation's not causation. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen.
I don't
like the idea of it. I want Resident Evil 2 Remake, though.
Want to do it. It didn't go over well with the new 3DS XL. They did barely anything with it, and I feel like it was because of the backlash they got that they stopped. They kind of made like 1 or 2 games. They're like, oh wait, people hate this idea.
They didn't really do much with it. Yeah, they really didn't. And it's also a fractured like install base, right? Like you're fracturing your actual consumer base there.
And then the marketing, you go into a store and you see a Switch game, you buy it, you bring it home. Oh wait, this doesn't work with my Switch Mini or my normal Switch. Is this a Switch Pro only? What the heck? Like,
let's look at it from Capcom's perspective. They want money, right? So if you're gonna bother to port a game over to the Switch, yes, the Switch Plus, right, is gonna be more powerful and easier to port over. But if you're gonna bother to port that over, why not just make the extra leap and also port over an even worse looking version for the original Switch as well? Because there's going to be way more people that are going to own the original Switch. Currently, they're over 30 million. Why are you just going to give up all that potential sales for what's going to be a system that's only going to sell, I mean, tops 5 million by the end of the year? Tops. I'm probably like...
I assume
over-predicting here.
Pro would hit 5 to 10% of the normal Switch. Like, that's what it's going to reach. Like, in its lifetime, it's going to hit 5 to 10% of the normal Switch's lifetime sales. That's typically what these kind of, like, Pro things do. They're way less than normal Switch. So you're getting, like, 5 to 10% of the money you would get if you sold them on the other version.
So I just don't see a company giving up all those potential sales. I don't see it happening, especially because once you bother to make the game for one part of the system's family, how much harder is it to make the next version? Now maybe it's like a crappy version that's running on the original Switch. Maybe that's maybe they won't properly optimize the lesser version, I guess. But like, let me ask you guys a question. Like, would you guys be okay if Resident Evil 2 Remake on the base Switch ran at 540p? Right? Would you guys be okay with that? And then on the normal Switch it runs at 720? Not on the Switch Plus? Like, would that make you guys happy? I think it'd be one of those situations where some people would be okay with it, right? And that would just be it. Some people would be okay with it, some people would not be. They would just play it on their PS4, Xbox One, or PC.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how, like, Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are already, right? Like, they get to some sub-HD resolutions at times.
Yeah. Oh, he asked another good question. How much would they be? So how much would they cost?
The games?
No, Switch Pro, Switch Mini.
Okay, I think, like, there's a possibility the normal Switch gets a price cut, right? Like, I can see, if it doesn't get a price cut, I would say the Switch Minus will be 200, and the Switch Plus will be 400. But I could see there being like a price cut where maybe the Switch Minus is like 180, right? The Switch Normal is like 270 or maybe even 250, and then Switch Plus is 350.
Honestly, at this point, if Nintendo wanted to, I think they could get a Switch Mini, Switch Minus 200, normal Switch 250, and a Switch Pro 350. To be honest, or Switch.
So you think a Switch Minus would only be $50 cheaper than a base Switch?
It depends on what they do with it.
That's why I was suggesting maybe 180, right? Which would hit like that 3DS kind of when slot. Although $199.99 is I think is the upper limit for Switch minus, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think you okay. I think I know what I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be 200. $199.99 for minus. Normal is gonna get a $25 price cut. $275. Switch Pro will be $350. Especially if they go with the Tegra X2. Like, I don't think it'd cost that much more to manufacture than a normal Switch.
I like the idea of there being $75 like splits between them. I don't think they'll do that though, because 75 is like they usually just go by tens. You know what I mean? Usually they actually go by 50s, but when it comes to handhelds, they're a little bit more skewed a bit. I wouldn't predict that, but I do like that. It's tough.
That's what I would hope. Honestly, I would not be shocked if it was 200 for a minus, 300 for a normal, and 400 for a Pro.
What would it even? It needs to be real. It needs to like. I think
it would need to be good for a plus.
I think it would need to be more than what we said. If it's $400.
I think it would need to be an Xavier chip.
It would need to be more than we said, and I don't think it is. So that's why I'm saying $349 tops.
Yeah, I do think it needs to be $350, but honestly, people said the Switch needed to be $250, and it wasn't. So honestly, you can get a PS4 for like $200. The Switch is still $300. So
I think Switch gets I think Switch gets a price drop. $50 might seem like a lot. So maybe $279.99. Right, so basically, I think it's gonna be $199 for Switch minus, $279.99 for base Switch, and then $349.99 for Switch Plus.
Yeah, that's what I would hope.
Yeah, basically, I'm just the only difference is that instead of it being $274.99, I'm saying $279.99. So a $5 difference. Yeah, but just because I've never seen them do intervals like that.
Right. I do think they could do 400 with the Plus, but I think it'd be smart to do 350 because I think they get away with the Switch being more expensive because it's the only thing. But if they have other options, I think the Switch Plus would not sell very well if it was not $350. Right. Because somebody would just go out and buy the other two, unless it's a significant upgrade, like it's actually like an Xbox One power. Like if it uses the Xavier chip and it's actually in between Xbox One and PS4, then they can charge $400 and get away with it. I think. Because people will go for that. But if they're going to use a Tegra X2 and it's just going to be, oh, yay, now I can play Doom at 950 FPS. No.
I get... It would be so weird to see a Nintendo system selling for $400. That's just like so anti-Nintendo. Granted, because there will be cheaper versions out there that kind of just allow them to go more for the power route.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I find it hard to believe that they will release a system that will be worth $400. And because I don't see them releasing a system that will be worth $400, I don't see them selling a system that I just don't see it. But if it is, if I see a $400 price tag, I'm expecting PS4 power minimum. Just telling you that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
It better get every multi-plat. That's just... But I don't see that happening. So I think $349.99 is what we're looking at, which is already kind of high. I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard sell for them. I think if they have to do a price drop for the normal Switch, get it to $279.99, a little bit cheaper, right? Heck, if they can hit $249.99, that'd be insane. That'd be great for this. That'd be great for them. Like ideally, heck, what if they do something else where the Switch Pro or Pro Plus is $300, base Switch is $250, and Switch Minus plus Mini whatever is $200. At that
point, I don't think they'd be able to get enough of an upgrade for it to be worth coming out.
You're right.
It wouldn't be worth it.
I agree.
They would not be able to get all the features people would want. I think they can charge $350. I think adding more storage will be the key factor. If they have 128 or 256, people are so used to paying another $50 for more storage on the Xbox One and PS4 that they'd see that and think it's worth it.
But I'm just saying that 120 gigs is like nothing compared to a terabyte hard drive. I understand that internal storage is different from a hard drive, but like from a consumer who doesn't really know too much about tech, they're just gonna be like, you're gonna make me pay an additional $50 for 120 gigabytes when the Xbox has a terabyte hard drive. Like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that seems.
I don't think that's true, because from what I've noticed, people seem to stick more in their ecosystems. So they'll compare Nintendo stuff to Nintendo stuff and Xbox stuff to Xbox stuff.
Okay,
more
I see that. Oh, that makes sense.
So they'll compare. Their main comparison would be 32 gigabytes to 256 or 128, and they'll see the value in that. Because if you're gonna compare the Xbox to the Switch already, you go, oh, I can pay $200 for a console that is like 3 times as powerful as the Switch. Why would I pay for the Switch?
So how about this? So let's say it is $400, right? $400. But it's like a package. It's just not an improved Switch. It comes with a Bluetooth headset. It comes with a dock with an Ethernet port, right? The games are touted to look and run better, right? It comes with 256 gigs of internal memory, right? Like, if it comes with all of that together, and it also touts like a better operating system that offers the streaming devices, right? Like, it's actually like a multimedia device, you know, and not just the base Switch. Like, if it's all of that, then I can maybe see them pushing the $400 price range. But even then, I can see something like that still being in the $349.99. But, you know.
Right. I think if they're going to push 400, you have to use the Xavier. You have to be between Xbox One, PS4, and you have to include 256 gigabytes of internal storage. You have to. Like, minimal. For $400, I think.
For $400. But if it's $349.99, $128 for sure. For sure.
Yeah, $128 for sure. Probably a Tegra X2.
And no headset.
No headset.
But if you make it $400, $256 with a headset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I would appreciate that.
That's what I would want. I don't think that's what they should do.
They better have an Ethernet port in the dock, regardless of what price it is.
Please.
It needs to
this
happen.
thing sucks. I hate it. No,
it's not even really good. It doesn't. There's a bottleneck. It doesn't even get that fast. Yeah,
it's like twice as fast as the Wi-Fi. That's it. It should be like 10 times faster at least.
Yeah. So hopefully that happens. I would be shocked to see the I think we can agree the Switch minus at most is $199.99. I think there's a chance it's like $20 to $30 cheaper. A chance. No,
I think 200
is too much. Most cheapest it'll be is $179.99. Most expensive $199.99. So I think it's like a $20 window there.
Yeah. Well, wasn't the new 3DS XL like 200? Or was it 180 when it first came out? Was it 180 or 200?
I would have to go look it up, but I imagine I think a new 3DS now is 180. I think the new 3DS XL was $199.99 when it came out. So it's probably $199.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. In which case, maybe they don't even drop the Switch price. Maybe they keep it the same, and they just have a Switch Plus at $400, and it has the stuff we talked about.
That's what I would want. I don't know if that's what they should do or not, but that's what I want, because I'm willing to pay $50 for a better version.
Right. And again, we're kind of going in circles here, but when I think about it, I can see them dropping the Switch. I feel like they need to drop it a little. Like, I don't see them not dropping it at all. Like, a $20 price drop, I think will be enough, right? And then just have the Switch, whatever Switch Plus is, you know.
Honestly, if I don't think they need to drop it all if it's 400. If the Switch Plus is 400, they don't need to drop it at all.
If it's 400.
They don't need to drop it at all.
But if it's not 400...
If it's 350, it does need to drop.
If it's 350, it should be like... The normal Switch should be 280.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I agree.
Okay, cool. We're pretty close to each other in wavelength there. So let's get... That was just one question.
It was a very important question, though, which is why I brought it up.
Very important question. Good question.
That's why Steins Joe, those are 2 very good questions in a row.
Absolutely. So, Ruby, you're saying Cuphead worked for Smash. You actually made a video of that on that, Brandon.
Yep, I did. Yeah. Check it out.
I don't think it'll happen, though.
That's what I said in my video.
Yeah. But it would be cool to see.
Spoilers. Still go watch the video.
RC just came in and said State of Play sucked ass. I didn't watch it. I didn't care to watch it. I heard it was mostly VR stuff. This is like Sony's version of Nintendo.
I never expected it to be good.
No.
Because Sony never has good presentations.
No, I think Nintendo has a few years on the other companies in terms of making good directs. That's something that they were forward thinking in that regard. They've done a great job with that. Like, those are like big deals on the internet. Like, they cause a lot of stir. You know, I think it's a big part of Nintendo's marketing. But, you know, we'll get to that. No, we won't get to that. I'm just actually thinking But the reason why I'm even saying stuff that makes no sense is because I had a conversation with a neighbor of mine. We got into a whole argument about Nintendo's marketing, and like he was saying that Nintendo's marketing sucks and it's barely gone any better. And I was saying, I agree with him that Sony's marketing is way better than Nintendo. I still agree with that. At least when it comes to like traditional marketing. But if you think
their amount of marketing is better, but I think Nintendo actually has their commercials themselves are really good. Honestly, they're way better than the PlayStation commercials.
I think, yeah, you may be right in there, but I think it's a little subjective. But I think what Nintendo does better is the other forms of marketing they do. Like the Nintendo Directs are marketing. That's the marketing, right? So their
huge whole social millions of views in 24 hours.
Their whole social media campaign, I think, is much stronger than what the other companies have, and that's a big pie of the marketing.
You never see people like retweeting like Sony stuff. You see people like posting Nintendo stuff and updates, and you never see Sony or Xbox, except for the during the PSX and stuff.
And I'll also say that because the Switch is portable, it lends itself towards word of mouth because people see it like, oh, what's that? Well, there you go. That's marketing as well. Right, so there's other non-traditional forms of marketing that I think Nintendo's doing really well. You can make the argument that Sony's doing the traditional marketing better, but that's an argument. It's an argument to be had. But I think we agree they at least put more money. They pump more money into their marketing.
They pump out way more ads.
Yeah.
Than Nintendo does.
Yeah. Sometimes quantity beats quality. When it comes to marketing, it does actually, because you get it in the mind in people's heads. So
as long as it isn't absolute trash marketing, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was saying it'd be so dope if Rare Replay on Switch had GoldenEye as a Switch. Oh, GoldenEye and Donkey Kong, dude! Oh my God, there is so much potential here. I would love it, absolutely love it.
Yes, please. Inject that in my veins.
Mark Jacobs is saying he played it on Xbox One. It's a really good game. It's challenging, though I'm not sure if you want to double dip. It's kind of
really
a one-time thing, but I'll say this. Rare Replay has many games. It's not just one game. It's actually an incredible value.
I think he means Cuphead.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cuphead is, like, really, really hard. Well, it is for me. I suck at it, though.
I can't speak to Cuphead, but I am very interested in it, and I really do enjoy challenging games, so it's probably right. It's probably
right up your alley, dude.
Yeah, I think it is. Private information saying I was always an Xbox. I can't speak English anymore. I was always an Xbox guy, though I'll miss it as a console brand. They're not going out of the console business, right? But
yeah,
they are.
Still make consoles.
There's still at least going to be one more Xbox. What will happen after that, we will see. But at least their brand, right, as a platform will still be around. And especially now that they're investing in so many different first-party developers, if those first-party developers are really good, the Xbox as a brand, as a platform of delivering quality games might become more prevalent, and that might be really nice to see. So regardless of what happens to them in terms of making consoles, if they're going to continue as a brand and creating great games, I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm especially okay with that because I don't buy Xbox systems, right? I have a PC, I have a PlayStation, I have a Nintendo Switch, and now that Xbox is putting games on the Nintendo Switch, that's like that's perfect. Like, I get everything. So
I do think they're a very good console manufacturer, though. Like the Xbox One X it's fantastically made console.
Very, very well made device. Yeah.
They're on and off though. Like the Xbox 360 was a fantastically made machine. Xbox One, not so much. Xbox One X, very nicely made. Xbox One original, So it's like they have potential, and sometimes they do it right, and they hit the nail on the head, and they make a very good console. And other times it's just like, no.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think
sometimes
the 360 was a great system.
Sometimes they're the worst.
The 360 was a great system.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Xbox 360 is great. The original Xbox was powerful, but it was not a very well-built machine.
Also their first system.
Right. But the original Xbox One isn't a very well-built or powerful machine. It just kind of sucks.
You could say they're 50-50 then, I guess.
Yeah.
So, hit or miss. All right, so let's jump into the final topic. Let's close out this discussion. 2019 outlook, right? I felt like it was a good time to... this is my favorite topic, the outlooks for the year, because you could always kind of go into your predictions and theories about how the year's going to play out. But I felt like it was a good time to revisit this topic because, one, Google Stadia impacts things, Switch revisions impact things, Cuphead coming to Switch is very implicative of other Xbox games coming. All of these different things can impact how the year's going to go forward. Especially the Switch revisions thing, like that's a big deal. So... how does this impact your outlook for the rest of 2019? A lot of the insiders are suggesting this is going to be a really big year for Nintendo fans. What do you kind of envision, Brandon? I can go first if you're not ready to sort of kind of lay it out there.
No, I'm fine. As far as I want to start, I guess, with how mine's changed with the new Xbox, news. I do think every time you mention games that could come to the Switch, you always mention Rare Replay last. But to be honest, I think Rare Replay might be first. Or at least close to it.
I want to address that. The only reason I bring it up last is just because it's always the last thing brought up in the rumors.
Okay, gotcha.
Not that I actually am thinking it'll come out this year.
Mm-hmm. I do think the same thing. Yeah. I think it's going to be the next big crossover with Microsoft and Nintendo. Is going to be Rare Replay. I feel like it's the easiest one to bring over, and it's the one that makes the most sense, just because of the history with Nintendo. And I think they're going to tie it into Banjo being in Smash. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Man.
So yeah, I think the next thing we're going to get is Banjo. Plus, I don't think MCU or Master Chief Collection for Halo will come out probably until...
I think it's early 2020.
Yeah, because they're going to be releasing on Steam like one game at a time, and I think they wouldn't do that on the Switch. So I think they're going to wait until they've finished working in the entire collection for Switch.
I think it'll be announced at E3, though.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But it'll be like an early 2020 title.
Yeah. I think it will come out around the same time that, the Steam collection is finished. Because they're coming one game at a time.
So do you have a timeline on that? Do you know, when?
2019 is at least Halo Reach. I think a few more are going to come out. I think they said they're supposed to be done sometime in 2020. So they're all supposed to be on there.
Maybe it comes out around that time.
Yeah.
Okay. But
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
So, this is what I'm thinking, right? And to add fuel to your argument, so there was a statement where Microsoft said there's nothing to announce now about Xbox Live coming to the Nintendo Switch, but games like Cuphead will run it, right? So, but as Xbox Live as an actual platform on the system, that hasn't been talked about yet. They said nothing announced yet, but it's coming to other platforms, right, like iOS and stuff like that.
Right.
But what we know is that before a month or so before the GDC, the Switch was included in the plans for the other platforms, and they scheduled it in a schedule listing, and that was taken down. It was hidden. It's like, I wouldn't even call it a rumor at this point. I would basically call it an actual leak, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say that it's already happening. It's a foregone conclusion, but they're not ready to make it an official announcement. I think Nintendo's going to need some big announcements at E3, especially if the only game they have coming out this year from Nintendo that hasn't had a gameplay reveal yet is Animal Crossing. I think they're going to want to have some surprise reveals. So I'm thinking, right, I'm with you. I think Rare Replay has a good chance to come out this year. I think it's going to be one of the announcements, right? And that's going to hit home with Nintendo fans. And I think also the Master Chief Collection would also be a great little announcement to throw in there as well, along with announcing Xbox Live, this Microsoft partnership, and this is more of the narrative I would like to see, Banjo. But you know what? I'm gonna throw one up here. It's two Microsoft characters. If you look at the third-party characters that were all the third-party characters we've seen for Smash Bros., every company seems to get at least two, right? What if Microsoft also gets two? And they get Steve and Banjo. And that would satisfy both spectrums of the rumors and the fan base, and that would be groundbreaking. What an E3 would be if we got Rare Replay, Banjo, Steve and Smash, and Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
that would really bolster Nintendo's E3.
I would be very happy.
And none of that's insane if you think about it, right? Like, they're ports. Right? Rare Replay and Master Chief Collection are going to be ports of old games. That's not like a crazy thing to see on the Switch, right? It's not like it requires 3 years of development, right? Each port will require a year tops, right? And then we're just talking about 2 DLC characters, and if all the other third-party characters if all the other third-party companies have at least 2, right? Then what's the problem? And by the way, I'm assuming that Sora from Dragon Quest is going to be one of the characters, and of course, Persona. That's published by Sega, right? So that's Sega gets Sonic and Joker, and then Square gets Cloud and Sora. right? So that's just I'm making that assumption that Sora's going to be in there, but that's kind of widely believed, right? And if that's the case, if it adds fuel to that thinking that each third-party company that's involved with Smash Brothers would get 2 third-party characters, which gives me hope that both Steve and Banjo could come to Smash.
Right. I mean,
it's a nice idea.
Yeah, because it's Microsoft, I think it could happen because of how much they're working together. If it was any other company, I'm not sure what I would think.
It'd be great.
How about them getting 2 characters in the DLC just because it's limited.
I don't know. Could agree though that E3 is going to have some Xbox announcements for Nintendo.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we can agree on that. I want to
Microsoft and Nintendo are both going to E3. They're going to be buddies.
The other thing, it makes sense. A lot of other companies are dropping out, like EA and Sony, so there's more of a focus on Nintendo and Microsoft. That's just right. Yeah. And of course, at E3, they're also going to have Switch Plus and Minus. Yo, what if they actually get that name? What if they actually name them that? I
would not be surprised. That sounds like something they would actually do. I want that to happen.
Hit me up on Twitter and be like, hey, Andres, are you secretly an insider and you just haven't told me? Would your feelings be so hurt because I never told you the truth?
Yeah.
I thought we were friends. Why didn't you tell me? I would just say...
That sounds like a legit thing. Like, honestly, those are probably the best names that I can think of right now. Because, like, a Switch Pro, well, that's probably not because it's done already, yeah. Switch Deluxe, hell no.
Sounds lame, but a lot of the games are called Deluxe, so...
Switch Mini, I don't think it's going to be... I think it's not going to be super small. I don't think it's going to be that much more smaller, like the screen at least. I think it's going to be, like... less bezel, and it's kind of like shrunk a little bit.
Funny name.
I don't think it's gonna be like mini.
Switch Clamp. Because it'll be like the clamshell design. Switch Clamp.
No, the Switch DS.
Switch Clamp. There'll be a commercial. Hey, do you want a Switch Clamp? Switch Clamp. Yeah.
Clamp. Yeah. Oh, my screen broke. Too much clamp.
Too much clamp. No, they'll have some nice little rubbers to really make sure everything's nice and
secure. We really just want to clamp it down. Don't worry, we got some rubber coating on there.
You know something that bothered me about the original 3DS? In fact, I think I have my capture card 3DS that I never use right here. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it on camera. You can. If you look carefully, you can see like these little lines, right? That's from this. I haven't used this in like over a year, by the way. That's why it's all dusty.
The original version of 3DS was not a very great design.
Yeah. That little imprint. I hope that if there is a clamshell design for the Switch Minus, that they don't have that issue. So let's go beyond the whole Microsoft thing, because we are in agreement that there's probably going to be several Microsoft announcements throughout the year. And the big focus might be at E3, especially because both Nintendo and Microsoft are kind of like the only big players there, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So I want to highlight a comment made by Robeer. He said, "I'm sure we're getting something good about Metroid." And this is kind of me playing more to the narrative that I want to see rather than 100% hard prediction. But I think there's going to be something announced for May. I am going to make that prediction. I'm predicting there will be something published by Nintendo coming out in May. There's a few options, and I think Metroid Prime Trilogy HD is one of a few options. So that's what I'm going to put out.
I'm going to go against your prediction and say there won't be. I don't think there's going to be anything for May. I think it's going to be the 1 month of the year where we don't get anything, and the rest of the year is going to be stacked.
I wish I had like Nintendo Switch calendar. I'm trying to think. I know I have something somewhere where I'm like, okay, I think this might be it. Oof. Oh, my secret stash of images that I create. Can't let you see that. It's fine. I'm just looking for a particular image I made. I put it in a video. I think this is it. It's taking forever to load even though it's a freaking picture. I need to put another $1,000 into my computer, so it'll take... Alright, so I made this for a video. You guys can probably see it now, I hope. Let me double check the stream so just so you guys can
there
see
it. Is. I see it.
Yeah, you guys can see that. Alright, so this is not a predictions, right? This is just to kind of showcase all of the Nintendo published games that we know about and kind of soft idea of where we can maybe see them, right? Like Animal Crossing can come out in September, Link's Awakening can come out in December. They're not predictions here, right? But these are all the current Nintendo published games. Let's count them. Let's just count them out. This is random fitness boxing game that I didn't even know about, right? Mario Bros. Used Deluxe, Travis Strikes Again has 3 games. Tetris 99 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 published games. I made a video in the beginning of the year talking about how there is a trend of Nintendo published games coming out on the different platforms, on 3DS and Switch. And on 3DS it was like high, and it started getting lower, and then on Switch it was getting higher and higher by year.
Right.
And I said that there would probably be somewhere between 18 and 23 games coming out for Switch. So right now we have 18. I think there's got to be a couple more, especially because now 3DS is dead. I don't think we're getting any more 3DS announcements. I think we're pretty much going to have, once everything's said and done, there'll be 3 Nintendo published games coming out for the 3DS this year. Which, going by the trends of that video I talked about at the beginning of the year, that would suggest at least a couple more games to be announced. So I'm just saying, man, if you're going to have months where you could theoretically get Dragon Quest and Luigi's Mansion in 1 month, or Daemon X Machina and Link's Awakening in another, like, I think there's a couple more Nintendo published games to be announced, and I think this very vacant May slot deserves some love. And I also want to say, technically, man, this February month just has Tetris 99. If you look at April, it's just an indie game, basically, right? Basically, I know it's published by Nintendo, so there's sort of not indie. And then the Labo game. There's no, like, hardcore game in April. Yoshi is coming at the end of the month. This is just a Nintendo Online exclusive game. So, like, if you look, it's pretty, like, these first 4 months aren't really heavy-hitting at all, right? Unless you are a super big Yoshi fan, right?
Right. So,
the premise of them following up these 4, I would say, lukewarm months with nothing, I'm willing, I think there's going to be something. And I'm not saying it's going to be big, but I think a Pikmin 3 port, or a Skyward Sword HD, some sort of port, some sort of remaster or port, something like that I could see in the May month. I just
definitely not. I don't think Skyward Sword HD is coming out this year.
Well, probably not because of Link's Awakening, but I'm just throwing it out there because it's one of the many rumored games.
Right.
That's my argument, at least. Just that I mean,
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not saying it has to be big, but something. You know?
I don't know. There's also the chance. I feel like Fire Emblem was going to come out in May, and then it got delayed.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like that's what happened.
But we also have gone. We've also been suspecting, a lot of people, that Nintendo has several titles that they're just holding. Right, so if they have to make some sort of sudden delay, they have several other games that they just deploy. Like, oh, okay, let's pull this one off the shelf, release it then.
Here it is. It's Pikmin 4 coming out in May, guys. Here first.
Maybe next year.
No, this year, man. This May.
Pikmin 3 is coming out this May.
They're moving straight to this 4. It's this May. That's what it is.
I don't think so. I really am buying to the whole King Zelda thing where he reported Metroid Prime Trilogy, Pikmin 3, Link's Awakening. He reported 2D Zelda, Box Boy, and Mario Maker 2. All of that, 3 of those 5 things have happened already. You know, so I'm of the frame of mind those other 2 are highly likely.
Probably, but I just want it to be Pikmin 4, so I'm saying Pikmin 4. It's probably Pikmin 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the May time, and then I guess I should actually pull up the image again because it helps us get a good idea of kind of what we're looking at here. Mario Maker 2 is already confirmed. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses is confirmed for July, right? It is. Yeah, I believe it is. Astral Chain is confirmed. I don't think Dragon Quest Builders 2 is, but I mean, I feel like that's just a random. It's like a small game. I'm pretty sure summertime is probably the right window for that. It's these games over here at the bottom row that don't have any solid release dates yet. But most of these are probably coming out. I mean, I can maybe see Link's Awakening maybe being squeezed into August. Maybe, you know, or Luigi's Mansion or Link's Awakening. Maybe one of those 2 could be squeezed into August, right? But I'm thinking. When do you think we'll see Animal Crossing?
December.
Really? You think December is actually the time?
Yeah, because it usually comes out in like November, but they're not gonna put them in the same month as Pokemon, so December.
Right. And last year we got Let's Go 3 weeks before Smash Ultimate, so it's not too crazy to think that they could do something similar this year.
Not too crazy.
No. Although I'll say that the audience for Ultimate and Let's Go, there's obviously some overlap, but it's not as much overlap as most Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Especially because Let's Go is more of a casual version, and I feel like Sword and Shield and Animal Crossing are the two most mainstream games. Well, I mean, Smash and Let's Go are also two biggest games of the year as well. So, I don't know. I think it's definitely an option. My bets are either September or December. So, something's got to be December.
I think it's Animal Crossing. It's either Animal Crossing or Zelda, I think. One of the two.
Yeah. I think Link's Awakening and Animal Crossing are interchangeable in terms of where they're slated in the months. Like, it could be Link's Awakening September. Well, Link's Awakening could come out in October as well. Heck, I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard.
I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield potentially, could come out in October. We're saying November because that's usually what it is, but
right.
I mean, X and Y came out in October, and it was X and Y was shown gameplay way earlier than Sun and Moon, and this one is as well. So not as early because that was January for X and Y.
Let's throw an idea out for you then. Just following that train of thought. Let's say Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out in October, right? Animal Crossing comes out in November, right? Mm-hmm. Link's Awakening comes out in December. I think they want to get, you know what? Because they have 2 revisions coming out, I think it makes sense to have both Pokemon and Animal Crossing out before Black Friday. Because they have the revisions coming out.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Gotta get it out before that.
Now, the only weird thing to me about the Switch Plus, because we're going to continue to call it that until Nintendo says otherwise.
Right.
There's no game, minus, say, Astral Chain, that I would say is like a big, like, showstopper in terms of, graphical, like, ambition, right? Like, Sword and Shield is obviously the best looking Pokemon game ever, but compared to any other sort of AAA game, it's pretty not close. You know what I mean? And Animal Crossing has always had a very basic art style. And I'm not, I just want to make it entirely 100% crystal clear. I am by no means saying that Pokemon Sword and Shield does not look great. I think it looks amazing. I'm pretty sure Animal Crossing is going to look amazing. I'm just saying that their graphical styles aren't the kind of games that you're like, oh my god, I need a 4K television for this. Right.
I think...
I'm just saying because of Switch Plus, they want something to maybe showcase that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be on the Nintendo side. I think it's going to be on the third-party side with Wolfenstein Youngblood's probably coming to the Switch. I'm sure that is coming to the Switch. It's not confirmed yet, but I'm sure it is coming.
And Doom Eternal as well.
Yep. Those are going to be the 2 showstoppers for the Switch.
Maybe they'll focus them at E3 as well to kind of showcase the new system.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we haven't seen gameplay for those yet.
And maybe Resident Evil 2 Remake as well.
And it could be, we could get a patch for
Dragon Quest.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Ooh, crazy idea. Crazy idea. No, it's not going to happen. No, I'm sorry. I'm not even telling you guys what it is. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. No, I'm first going to say it. My first thought was a DLC campaign for Breath of the Wild, and it runs at 1080p 60 on the Switch Plus.
It'd be nice, but they already confirmed they're not doing any more DLC.
That's why I said it's not even worth mentioning, because it's not going to happen.
Mario Odyssey DLC.
That was my next mental jump to Mario Odyssey.
1080p with anti-aliasing, because that game needs it.
Maybe. It's just, I don't know. And I guess Astral Chain could be one of the things that they use as a showstopper at E3. It's like, hey, look at this awesome game we have. It's just in August. That game's coming in August, so it's just not like coming out in the latter half of the holidays where you're like, oh my god. But then again, it was said that these systems might come out more closer to summertime.
Right.
And actually, because of that, what if Astral Chain launches with the Switch Plus, and Animal Crossing launches in September with the Switch Minus?
Say that again? I got distracted.
Okay. What if the Switch Plus comes out in August, with Astral Chain, and the Switch Minus comes out in September with Animal Crossing.
I'm sorry, I am completely distracted.
What?
Because the yellow Kazoo is in the chat. I was completely distracted. Commenting to them. I'm sorry. I'm being way undistracted. Say that one more time. I'm not looking at anything. I'm looking at you.
Okay. Okay. Third time's a charm, my friend. Third time's a charm, my friend. I'm gonna move this calendar. Well, I'm gonna move it. But I was just saying that what if we see in September the Switch Minus, right?
Switch
and it launches with Animal Crossing. Switch Minus being the portable Switch.
Right.
And then Astral Chain, which is already confirmed for August. What if we see Switch Plus come out that time?
In August.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the smaller Switch comes out first, if not at the same time. And I think September is a good time to come along with Animal Crossing. And I think a Switch Switch Plus could come out like Black Friday.
Yeah, because I think only one of them is supposed to come out in summer. Well, I guess it's ambiguous. The rumor doesn't. It says one of them's supposed to be at least, but does it say if both of them are?
I'm not 100% certain.
I'm not 100% certain.
They just talk. They don't know when they're going to be announced or revealed, but they're hearing potentially summer, potentially. And I think, you know how it is with companies and release dates. Oh, summertime, so they really mean like the very end, right? So September kind of makes sense if that is the window they're hearing for one of them to come out. So, and I think September, like I said it before, for Animal Crossing, I think the 2 months that it makes the most sense are either early December or September. And if they're going to be releasing 2 revisions, they kind of maybe need to space them out. One should come out around Black Friday time. Maybe Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to get kind of a graphical bump with the Switch Plus. Maybe that kind of is something they use for that, right? But the Switch Minus comes out September time along with Animal Crossing, because of course either it's an interchangeable. Either Animal Crossing or Pokemon launch with the Switch Minus, because the portable system, Animal Crossing and Pokemon that's what they're for. They've been strongest on the portable devices. So I'm at least kind of betting that maybe September we see one of those systems. I think it would be a Switch Minus with either Pokemon or Animal Crossing, but I really doubt Pokemon would come out that early in the year.
I do think that if they don't come out at the same time, that a Switch Minus would come out first. That makes sense to me. And then, Switch Pro might be that big holiday one, because it's their Switch Plus, as we're calling it. And,
maybe, they like you said, the games that they use to really showcase the Switch Plus are third-party games. And a lot of those games will come out around Black Friday time, right? So maybe the Wolfenstein, whatever it is, 3 or something, and Doom Eternal will come out around that time. See, I can see that happening. I think it makes a lot of sense. So let's kind of summarize our outlook, and let's check back with the chat, and then we'll call it a night. Okay? And guys in the chat, because we are kind of like we're ending the podcast soon. So if there's anything you guys want us to like kind of talk about, put it in the chat now, and we'll get to it before we end the show. So we're kind of thinking, right? Well, I'm thinking. You disagree. I'm thinking that in May, there's going to be at least one more Nintendo published game, right? At least one more. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I'm hoping it's Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, but it could be a whole bunch of things, right? It could even be something smaller than that. But something I think is going to happen in May. You think that May is just going to be the dead month of the year, right?
I'm leaning towards that, just because usually there's just 1 month out of the year where it's kind of dead.
Got you. Okay. So then, moving into the E3 time, right, we're thinking that there's going to be a big focus between Nintendo and Microsoft, right? We both agree on that. And, we could see an announcement for Rare Replay, maybe the Master Chief Collection, at least one Microsoft character. I'm suggesting maybe 2, Banjo and Steve, right? We both want Banjo no matter what, but I think, something along those lines, give or take a couple things, is what we could be seeing from Microsoft at Nintendo's E3 presentation, right? I think they may... Nintendo will... I didn't bring this up, but we brought it up earlier in the discussion, actually. Nintendo will probably have a couple things they'll show off at E3 that will be, coming out next year, right? But they'll have some surprises to show us.
2020.
Right. We talked about it earlier. there's kind of this debate about when Animal Crossing will be revealed. I've talked about it, I made a video on it, that every time, at least with the last 3 Animal Crossing games, the last 3 mainline Animal Crossing games, their actual first-time gameplay reveal was at an E3. So history suggested it'll happen again this time as well, but I also think there's a possibility we could see an April Nintendo Direct, and then that's also a chance we could see that, or it could just be mostly for the 3.0 update, or if we get any sort of May game, you know? So that's a possibility. And then, besides that, we're debating the, you know, Switch Minus could come out maybe September time, right? And then Switch Plus comes out November time for Black Friday time. And I think, you know, Pokemon and Animal Crossing maybe each one could line up with one of the 2 different systems, because they're both system pushers. And
right.
I think if of the 2 games that would make more sense to go to launch along with Switch Plus would be Pokemon Plus and Minus, because it is, like, I guess the biggest graphical showcase for a Pokemon game yet, even though it's still, you know, not as big as other Nintendo games, but still relatively big.
Bigger than Animal Crossing. I think it will be. I think Animal Crossing's a very simplistic game.
Right. So,
I mean, maybe not this time, but I doubt. I
watch
think
it be
time.
like open world, like photorealistic Animal Crossing. You know how crazy would that be?
I think that'd be kind of disturbing.
Like, what if all the creatures look like the Pokemon in the Detective Pikachu movie?
Oh God,
that would be insane. It would not happen, but it would be insane. I don't know, like, people probably wouldn't like an art style change. Right? The art style's been pretty consistent throughout the years with minor, subtle changes. But
yeah,
I would love it if they just randomly went with something like that's like semi-photorealistic, like, but still like cutesy and beautiful. Like, what if it was kind of like Pikmin 3, but with, you know, realistic animals? Did I sell you on it? No?
No.
Okay. All right. I felt like I at least got a delay out of you. You thought about it, right?
I thought about it in a very disgusted way.
Oh, okay. Not like scary realistic, but like, what if the environment looked like pseudo-realistic? You know, that'd be interesting. But I agree, it's probably gonna look basically, it's gonna look like Animal Crossing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. You know, like every other game that's been confirmed has already been confirmed that's coming out this year. I'd be shocked if there's another Nintendo published game that's even comparable to Pokemon or Animal Crossing coming out this year. Like, there's gonna be no Super Mario or Zelda coming out this year. I mean, there's Link's Awakening, but it's like a 2D remake.
As I said before, I think it's the third parties that are really going to push the PS4 Pro, push the Switch Plus. It's going to be the Wolfensteins and the Doom Eternals and
maybe Resident Evil 2 remake.
And maybe 11.
Oh, one thing we didn't bring up. Also, I think Dragon Quest can maybe look a lot better with the Switch Plus. It kind of needs
right.
That. One other game is Monster Hunter. There's some rumors about Monster Hunter. It's about time for an exclusive Switch Monster Hunter game to come out. If there's a game that usually comes out on Nintendo systems, but would kind of make sense to launch alongside a more powerful Switch, maybe it would be Monster Hunter.
Maybe so.
That'd be amazing. Oh man, I would love that. I can't believe I didn't think about that yet. Like, that would be great to see. I think there's a chance of that. Like, it's about time for there to be an exclusive Monster Hunter Switch game. So that, like, because that's a third-party thing, right? So that wouldn't really get too much in the way of the Nintendo stuff. So I can maybe see that happening. I have some hope with that. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So let's kind of get back to the chat here. Unless there's anything else, Brandon, you want to add in terms of our 2019 outlook.
Not really. I guess give a shout out to Luigi's Mansion 3, because literally every time I think about that game, I get hyped.
I can't wait to see more of it. That's gonna be fantastic. No, yeah, this is gonna be a great year. I mean, this is gonna be a fantastic year. So let's kind of see where we're at. I'm just kind of go through the chat. And again, guys, you know, if you have anything you want us to talk about before we end the podcast, put it out there. Let's see. Let me see. Darcy's Mastermind's back. Darcy, you're saying you are back. Were you talking about me? I am back. We're back after a 2-week break from the podcast.
Yeah.
Mastermind is also back. Because you were at work, right, Mastermind? Darcy's saying, I feel like the week before Halloween would be best for Luigi's Mansion. It seems so fitting, right? You know, it kind of could be the case, maybe. Sabbath, you're saying you feel like we'll get a Smash Direct in April because of the 3.0 update and Joker. I definitely think we're going to get Smash news in April. I don't know if it's a Smash Direct. It might be just a Nintendo Direct, but one or the other. Yeah. Darcy's asking, will we get any more ports revealed? I think Pikmin 3 or Metroid Prime Trilogy HD are options.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if at least one of them happened. That's my dog, Houston. He's loud.
He's agreeing.
Yeah, he's going to be announced for Smash. That's him teasing it. He would... My dog's a monster, by the way. He destroys everything. So, if you look carefully, I actually have, like, these two little scars right here. This isn't from him biting me, okay? It's actually because one time, this is when he was a little younger, I was cooking in the oven, I was taking out some sticks, and he decided to shove his face in the oven, so I just pulled him out, right, because I didn't want him to get hurt. He's like a giant fur monster, so, you know, I didn't want him to burn himself, so I just burned myself instead. So he's a monster for that, but he's also, like, I get little scratches, like, all the time. He's just a big Labrador. He might be close to 100 pounds already. He's only, like, a year old. It's crazy. But anyway, aside from my dog being in Smash Brothers, Sabbath, you agree, right? That maybe they're possibly hinting the next DLC character with my Houston barks? Nah. A Pikmin 3 port would be good, because Pikmin 3 on Wii U, while I have it, I just didn't like the whole way the Wii U gamepad was integrated. I feel like it needs to have more of the traditional controls. I didn't like having to look down, and to be honest, my gamepad battery just died, so it always had to be plugged in with a cord, and it was a mess for me. So I would like to get a kind of enhanced version of Pikmin 3 to play through it and actually finish it this time. So I'd be happy with Pikmin 3 port. Yellow Kazoo, hello, how you doing? You don't remember subbing? Well, now you know. Let me see. They do want out in the summer according to rumors. Are you referring to the
I think they're
the Wall Street Journal report of the system? So yeah. I mean, I think, you know, September kind of fits that idea. I think, at least for one of them.
The latest it can be if it's supposed to be summer.
August is also possible. I'm just thinking that, like, if Astral Chain is already confirmed for August, I don't think they'd put Animal Crossing the same month as Astral Chain. But August is, like, it's confirmed at the end of August. So I guess theoretically, Animal Crossing could come out, like, the beginning of August, right? And if that's the case, maybe the Switch Mini or Minus or whatever comes out alongside of it. That's possible, too.
Maybe it just comes out and they just don't launch it with a game. I feel like that's possible.
Possible, but I think with the Minus, it's gonna come out, like, if not at the same time, like, right around, like, right before.
I feel like both should. I feel like the Plus should come out, like, around the time, like, big games like Astral Chain and Doom Eternal are coming out, and then Minus should come out around the time Animal Crossing Pokemon are coming out.
It needs to come out before Animal Crossing. Like, it's either day one of like, the first of Animal Crossing or Pokemon, or, like, right before, because a lot of people are going to buy a cheaper portable Switch to play Animal Crossing and Pokemon. Like, that has to happen. So, whenever Animal Crossing and Pokemon come out, the Switch Minus has to come out before then. Or, like, right at the same time. That's...
I would hope.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident in that part, at least. Let me see. Bright information. I really hope Luigi's Mansion 3 is more like the first game. Me too. I feel like from what we've seen, like, we're just exploring one giant hotel, so it's more of a focus on one place as opposed to separate areas like in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. So
I feel like it's kind of a mixture of it. I feel like it's the singular hotel, you know, mansion like in the original, but it has more variety in the actual, like, level, like, themes and stuff like Dark Moon did. So I feel like they're kind of mixing the best of both of the games into one.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of am in agreement with you there. It seems like it's a bit of a mix. Mastermind, maybe the next direct we could get more footage of Luigi's Mansion. I really hope for a Metroid Prime Trilogy port. Right there with you. If there's an April Nintendo Direct, like I'm kind of hoping / predicting, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD announcement, more Luigi's Mansion 3 footage, all that Smash content, maybe announce Ori, that's one of the rumored games from Microsoft, maybe showcase like a couple more third-party games. That'd be a solid Direct, man. And if they want to throw in an Animal Crossing gameplay reveal, that's possible. But then if that happens, they better make sure they will have other surprises at E3. We talked about it. They could show off some 2020 games, and especially if there's gonna be like that big focus for Microsoft games at Nintendo's E3, they could still have a lot, even if they do the Animal Crossing reveal in April.
Since they're revealing probably 2 systems at E3, maybe they're announcing
all the games now.
Oh yeah, so that they have time to go into the systems during E3.
So maybe the April Nintendo Direct will have an Animal Crossing gameplay reveal, an update on Luigi's Mansion 3, and Smash 3.0 update, and Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, and okay, that's too much.
That's too much, but
too much. But you know, maybe we're kind of close, give or take a couple things. It's a good point, Brandon, because if they're gonna focus on the systems, that makes sense. Like if they're gonna focus on showcasing the systems, so maybe I still think that makes sense. It would still fit to have Animal Crossing featured at E3 because Animal Crossing and Pokemon are the big portable games, right? So they want to showcase that playable on the Switch.
Treehouse is gonna play it a lot.
Yeah.
Have a big focus on it. I just don't know if they have to have the gameplay reveal there or not. Just because they're gonna be revealing 2 systems, like. Because we keep saying like, oh, they don't have a big reveal for E3 other than Animal Crossing. Yeah, they have 2 systems.
I got another name idea besides Switch Plus and Minus. What if instead of Switch Clamp or Minus, it's called Switch Pass? What if like the Switch Pass has an exclusive, what's it call it? The Street Pass functionality we had in the 3DS. It's not really a thing on the Switch. Right, like what if this Switch Pass, Switch Mini, Switch Minus, whatever you want to call it.
It just sounds like you're passing on it, like you're not gonna get it.
You could have my Switch.
You're just passing it along, or you're taking a hard pass on the Switch Pass. That's gonna be, if they do that name, that's gonna be a title. You're gonna see it on YouTube, taking a hard pass on the Switch Pass. That's gonna be somebody's gonna do it. I might do it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So let's move a little forward though. Master is saying maybe an airdrop reveal in April. Y'all. I think
maybe
if there's gonna be if the Microsoft characters or character is gonna be revealed at E3, I think you kind of have to release or reveal airdrop, which is supposedly the second one, right? In like. Before, it kind of makes sense. Like, if they're gonna have a big Smash focus, maybe they don't have to show off gameplay for the second one, but maybe they show off gameplay for Joker, and then Erdrick is kind of teased, right? Kind of like the same way they did for Joker, where they had like a little trailer, but it's just like kind of concept art, right? And maybe it comes out summertime, and then that's around the time that we see gameplay for that, but at the same time, that's when they also announce the Banjo character or the Steve character for Smash. So I can see April, maybe we finally get confirmation of it being Erdrick. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yellow Kazoo was saying maybe Doom Eternal will come out on the Pro. Yeah. I think we're kind of in an agreement with that. I think Doom Eternal, Brandon, as you were saying, Wolfenstein 2 or whatever it is called, the next Wolfenstein game, like those kind of games could be featured along with the Switch Pro or Plus, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, makes sense. Sam is saying hopefully you can use a GameCube controller in Luigi's Mansion 3. Well, you can technically plug in the Smash GameCube controllers into it, so
I think that works for pretty much every game. It's not made for them, but you can use
the normal GameCube one doesn't, but you do have these aren't Nintendo ones, these are third party, but you do have like the Power A ones, which this is a Pro controller, right? It looks like a GameCube controller. Like you at least could do this, play with this.
The other GameCube Pros don't work with any games. You can't just use
these
them.
Work with any game.
No, the official ones, the wired
I think
ones.
only select games do, like maybe like Mario Kart and like Smash.
Like I know they're not made for it, but I thought that they would just.
But if they're missing buttons, they're missing buttons.
Yeah, I know, but
there's no clickable sticks, right? There's only 3 shoulder buttons instead of 4. Like there's some limitations.
Work. I'm saying like you can go in and control. You might not be able to do everything, but like it works.
I don't know. I don't have it.
Just move the stick and it does nothing.
I'm pretty. We have to double check that.
Yeah.
We have to double check that. Let me see if a quick Google search will help me. GameCube controllers work on Switch. How to use your game controller with Nintendo Switch. How to connect your...
It's just how to connect it. I'm pretty sure I've seen like videos and stuff. People like using game controllers for other games. Maybe not though. Who knows?
What games do the GameCube controllers work for on Switch? Yeah, Google sucks. Yeah, I can't really give you a hard answer on that. I have to check it out.
Next podcast, next week, we'll follow up on that.
Okay, well, apparently GameXP made a video back in 2017 talking about a whole bunch of games that do work with it. So it's not just Smash. So there you go. Yeah. So where are we? They look as oh wait, Andres. Yes, I am Andres, the guy in the totally red shirt. Andres Restart. This is my channel, but Brandon is What About Nintendo. He has his own channel. The link to it is in the description below. So Mastermind saying, how likely could we get a rare replay port? I think it's very likely. Yeah, I mean we were talking about. I think it's, I'm pretty likely. And yeah, Yellow Kazoo, we do the podcast every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And it usually lasts about 2 to 3 hours. Yep. Occasionally take breaks, but almost every week we do the podcast. Yeah. So, yep. I really hope the rare replay happens, Mastermind. Like that's something I really want. I want to be able to play Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, like a Killer Instinct, freaking Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like all of those games on the Switch would be so good. Like I was just playing Turok now, and Turok's not made by Rare, but just like playing these other N64 games that I played back in the day on the Switch would be really nice to see, especially if they get like enhanced a little bit. You know, they're actually in widescreen, semi HD. Like I would like to see that. That would be really nice to see. So I really hope it happens. I think it's fairly likely. So like I'll still probably scream when it happens, like you know, enjoy. But I am kind of I'll predict that it is gonna happen. Is it gonna happen this year? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So, anything else we want to kind of cover before we call it a night, guys? Or are we pretty much it?
I think we've gone to the end of the chat and the end of the topics.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I think we can call it a night. So, guys, Brandon is a human being, mostly.
Really?
And his channel, he talks about Nintendo stuff, too. The link to his channel is in the I can't speak English. We're obviously I'm tired. This is the end of the show. So, but What About Nintendo? Brandon, the link to his channel is in the description below, and you should check him out. Click there. Leaving a like on this one, on this little stream here for my channel it will take away 1 tear as I go to sleep tonight, because I have thousands of tears as I go to bed. So every like eliminates 1 tear that I will shed in my sleep. I'm joking. I don't cry that much.
He's not joking.
Yeah, we'll prove it. I'll stream my sleep. That'd be creepy. Private information. The problem with the Rare Replay port is that some of the games are Xbox Live ports downloaded separately into the hard drive.
I think that's only on Game Pass. I think if you actually buy the game, which is still in small.
Well, I think the thing is, like, just like Cuphead, I think if they port over Rare Replay, it's not going to just be a straight rip. It's going to be kind of like a redone version that'll have some different changes and enhancements, maybe a couple other games taken out, a couple other games added in. That's what I think it'll happen. It'll be a customized Rare Replay for the Switch.
Oh wait, there doesn't have a PC version. Oh, yeah, you can
there
buy
is no PC version. Yeah, I would have had it already.
Yeah, I have it already.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Private information. It'll be a customized Rare Replay version of the Switch. So there will be some differences. But that's what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. You know, it may not even happen at all, but I think it will. So I guess we'll find out sometime this year. All right, that's it. You know, it's kind of things are looking good. We're gonna get the Switch Minus and Plus. You heard it here. Those are the names. Yeah, I would love to be on Spawncast, but, you know, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome dude. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see you all really soon, and maybe I will clip out different parts of the podcast. And let me know what you guys think about that, so you guys can see different parts for those who won't see the entire show. But, yeah, have a great night. Take care.
Bye, guys.